Welcome to Dark at Dark at Dark at Dark at Dark.
It's
Dark Tonight on
DXL.
we get at it with BMT, Mr. Fantastic, Supreme King Cool, Classic Ruby.
Open your mind.
Dark incidents. The protest. Dark X.
You know.
Yeah, X.
You know.
Dark incidents. You understand? Yeah, X. Yeah, open your mind. Dark Exodus. Dark Exodus. Dark Exodus.
Peace, folks, and welcome back to another edition of the Proper Thought series right here on the old TPOT YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but you knew that already. That's why you are here. Tonight, got a good show for y'all tonight, good stream for y'all tonight. Tonight, we will be talking the Queen and King thing. And of course, tonight, being that it's DXL, we will have some of the usual suspects, of course. I'm supposed to be joined by my man BMT, Brother Fantastic, Supreme King Coon, and Lady Ruby will be coming through too. So it's gonna be a decent night, y'all. You know, some serious shit, probably a little fuck shit too, but it's going to be a decent stream. But y'all know before we get started, like always, I have to start the show off with thanking my contributors, my supporters, and my donors. Got quite a few donations the other night. I mean, I can't say this enough, man. I'm just overwhelmed with y'all, man. Y'all are unbelievable, man. Y'all are unbelievable. You know, the way y'all support this platform. I mean, I can't say it enough, man. And I know y'all get tired of me saying it, okay? But I'm going to continue to say it because the way y'all support this platform, man, it's like it's unbelievable. You know, like I always say, this isn't, one of the bigger platforms. It's a relatively small platform. But I mean, I got supporters that give big support because they have big hearts and they have big minds and they continue to support this platform, man, with their views, with their likes, with their subscriptions, and their coins. Okay, but like I always say, I mean, you ain't just gotta contribute your coins to be considered a supporter. You watch these videos, you share these videos. What's good, brother Art? I see you up there. You share these videos, you like these videos, you come here every damn week and listen to me talk shit. So I consider you a supporter. I mean, I'm humbled. I'm honored. I'm appreciative, man. And like I said, y'all are unbelievable, man. You know, the way y'all support this channel, the way y'all support this platform, man, is like, out of this world, man. And I greatly, greatly appreciate it. And I thank y'all. I do sincerely. Not a I'm kissing your butt. Thank you, but sincerely, thank you. I appreciate it. But anyway, yeah, tonight we will be talking about the Queen and King thing. Yeah, that's what we'll be talking about tonight. And like I said, I'm gonna have a few of the usual suspects coming through. I see my man, brother Art, up there. Brother Art, you want to come on tonight? Just let me know. I'll send you the link. You can come through as well. Um, like I said, I got a few folks coming through, some of the usual suspects. Y'all know who they are. Yeah, we're going to talk about this Queen and King thing, man. Because a lot of times what we do is, we call each other king, and queen. I personally don't do it, but I'm speaking, in general. Um, Speaking of the collective, we often call each other king and queen and all that kind of stuff. And tonight, I'm not going to say challenge it, but I'm going to ask why. Why do we walk around and call ourselves queens and kings and all that kind of stuff? know, I mean, because when you think about it, because let's go back, right? Let's go back a ways. Now, you often hear people talking this king and queen stuff, right? And I guess it comes from, you know, the Egyptian kings and the Egyptian queens. I guess that is what, we are talking about when we refer to ourselves as kings and queens. It's not all of us, but many of us, we do that. And we say that as a term of endearment to one another, you know? And it's sort of like, I guess it's our way of getting away. What's good, Cap? I see you up there. I guess it's our way of trying to get away from the history of slavery, trying to go past slavery, because a lot of times they think that black people, our history began with slavery and all that kind of nonsense. But we all know that our history began way before that. So I guess that's a way to shine the light, shine a light on that history. But what we got to understand is this. I mean, here's the reality. This is where the big hurt comes in. Okay. Practically every, hey, what's good? My ice is cold. I see you up there. What we have to understand is this. And like I said, I know y'all gonna get pissed at me when I say this, but practically every African slave brought to America came from mainly two countries in Africa, right? That was mostly Senegal and Angola. Okay. Now we know that both of these countries are on the west coast of Africa. Okay. None of them nowhere near Egypt, of course. All right. All right. Now we try to associate ourselves with I guess the monarchies of Egypt and all of that, even though where we came from as slaves wasn't anywhere near Egypt. So what we have to understand is that about 5 million slaves were taken from Africa. And I think about half of these slaves ended up in South America. Um, where else? Yeah, South America, then some in the Caribbean, and then North America. All right. Now, for the other half that didn't end up in Brazil somewhere, and they ended up in North America, right? And the Caribbean, most of them came from Senegal also, and Angola, right? Now, you ask yourself, X, what does any of this have to do with anything? Now, I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you what it has to do with it. Now, every black person, ancestors, probably started off as slaves in America, did not come from Egypt, y'all. Didn't come from Egypt. Now, I know we all talk, the Hotep stuff and all that kind of stuff. And, we try to, associate ourselves with kings and queens and all that kind of stuff. But what you got to ask yourself is this. Why on earth would there be so many people coming into America? All right. Oh, shit, Lady Danielle up in here. What's good, Lady Danielle? I see you up there. Now, you got to ask yourself, even if we were, let's say, for instance, we were somewhere where kings and queens were, right? Every single body there, every single person there wasn't a king and a queen. That's ridiculous. Okay. If you go to any kingdom, there's one king, there's one queen, right? There's not 100 kings, 100 queens, and 5,000 princes and princesses, right? We know that that's not true, right? We do realize that that's not true. What's good, Lady Ruby?
Good evening, sir. I apologize for my tardiness today. I try to be on time, but today got a little away from me.
Well, I'm glad you're here because I need a woman's perspective on this too. I was just telling the folks that we often refer to ourselves as kings and queens, and I think it goes back to Egypt. You know, this whole Egyptian king, Egyptian queen thing. But what a lot of people don't understand is that black people, when they came as slaves, going to here, North America, and the Caribbean, all right, places like South America. Most of those slaves came from Angola and Senegal. That's a fact. Y'all can look that up. Nowhere near Egypt. Okay. But even with that, say there were some kings and queens in the crowd, every single one of us wasn't a king and a queen. Uh,
Uh-huh.
some
Exactly.
some of us were the people who were shoveling horse shit. Some of us were the people who were hunting the pigs. Some of us were the people who were building, you know, the domiciles and shit like that. So you know where I'm going with this. But we often hear this king and queen stuff, and me personally, I consider it to be somewhat of mental masturbation. Okay. I think we have a tendency to mentally masturbate each other while we do it to ourselves. Because see, if I walk up to you and I say to you, hey, what's going on, queen? Not only am I, sort of mentally stroking you, I'm also mentally stroking something that's in my own head, right?
Facts. Mm-hmm.
For me to call you queen, even though you wear no crown, you have no kingdom or queendom, I should say. You're not a monarch over anything, but I'm calling you that for the simple fact that you are black. That's why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because you're black. Not so much. Now you hear brothers say, well, I do it, because I consider them, to be queens. Bullshit. You're doing it because the person is black. That's why you're doing it. Okay? Because for some reason, yeah, you're right, brother MOT, goddamn pandering. You're pandering. I mean, I'm a married man, okay? I've been married for 18 years. I don't call my wife queen. Now, she's my queen, okay? Mine. She's my queen, but she's not a queen. You understand? She's my queen, just like I'm her king, but I'm not a king. I'm her king because she lives within the kingdom of X. So she is the queen of that. But even my wife, I mean, if I was to start calling her queen, she'd be like, what the hell is wrong with you, Negro? Because she doesn't subscribe to that whole, we're all queens and all this kind of nonsense. She doesn't subscribe to that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And if she was to call me king, I would be like, what the hell wrong with you? Because I say again, I'm her king. I'm not a king. All right. Now, you often hear this, right? And I think the title would be better if children called parents that. Now, then I would see it as more appropriate. If children refer to their mother and father as queen and king. Now, that I could kind of go along with because, in a sense, they are part of a kingdom. In a sense, their mother is their queen. In a sense, their father is their king. I could go along with that. But for me to just walk around and call the rank and file person king and queen just for the simple fact that they the same color as me is stupid to me. That doesn't make any sense to me. Okay. I will never refer, as much as I like you, brothers, I will never refer to your ass as king. Okay. As much as I like some of you ladies, I will never refer to your ass as queen. Okay. I just won't. My title I give to you is brother. Okay. Brother this, brother that. As a female, I call you lady. Lady this, lady that. I'm never going to call your ass queen. I'm never going to call you king. I'm just not. I'm not going to do it. I'm not. When people call me that, I kind of wince a little bit because I ain't no damn king. I'm a king of this shit here. This shit here, yeah. Yeah, because I rule this. But once I leave off of this, I'm no longer a king. I'm only a king within inside of the shit I control, which every man is. So I don't think that I need to be referred to as king for the simple fact that I am black. All right. That just doesn't make sense to me. What you think, Lady Ruby?
You know what? I agree. I would even go as far to say that what we're doing, we're calling people kings and queens just arbitrarily because they're black when they might have not done anything. They might not be in control of anything in their lives. They don't have a wife, unlike you. At least I could acknowledge, well, you are a king of something. So, you're from a different kingdom than me, but okay, king. And, you're a queen of something. If it's your household, hello, queen. But the expectation to call I don't know you, so I don't know what you've accomplished or not. But even if I do know what you've accomplished, and it's a whole lot of nothing, you don't have a family or a household, you don't own a business, you don't own anything. You are just starting out in life. You have negative $400 in your bank account, credit cards damn near maxed out, and I'm supposed to be calling you king and queen? I think that's crazy. And I find it, I don't know, like it's when you said you cringe, I get that because I cringe inwardly too. And I'll actually tell people, like, don't call me that. And it only really happens in the chat rooms here. But if someone calls me, oh, Queen Ruby, and I'm like, don't call me that. I'm not queen. No one's queen. And that's not to say that I don't understand that you're trying to be, I guess, complimentary, or you think you could just pander to me like the average woman wants to be pandered to, or whatever the case is. But to me, I almost find it insulting. It's like what we've done a lot is we've decided that because we feel bad inwardly about ourselves, we feel low inwardly about ourselves, about our circumstances, about where we are in life, where we grew up, whatever it is. And rather than wanting to put in hard work and time to accomplish things and to feel an internal sense of accomplishment, we want to grab these labels like kings and queens and stick them on ourselves so that way we can feel special for 5 seconds when someone acknowledges us as a king or a queen, and then go back to our lives where we're not even trying to try. And see, to me, that takes away the motivation that you should have to want to work hard and diligently to accomplish something in the future. So that way people can speak to you and look at you with some type of reverence and respect. We don't want to earn reverence and respect. We don't want to even do internal work for us to just be somebody who commands a presence that gives you reverence and respect. No, we just want some label slapped on us to give us that reverence. That's crazy. And that also shows, I mean, do you believe that you can actually accomplish something in life? See, I believe that I can get exactly where I want to be. I believe that I'm going to be able to accomplish my hopes and dreams. And I'm going to be able to get to a stature in life where I am going to be respected and revered for the things that I've accomplished. So I don't need, your fake validation you want to throw out at me. I don't need your pandering queen to try to make me feel good about myself. I don't want to feel good about myself just for existing. I want to feel good about myself for my accomplishments. And I think we are lacking that as a general whole, that we want to feel a sense of internal accomplishment for things that we've done.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you, Lady Ruby, because like you said, I mean, king and queen are a title. Okay, that's a title that monarchs have. You rule over this country, this province, this kingdom, this whatever. Okay, it's a title. Okay, it's a title that a ruler has. And if you're just calling me king, okay, for no reason, especially even if you don't know me, like you're just calling me king for the simple fact that I'm a black man. Now, some people, excuse me, Now, some people will take that as a compliment to be called king, queen, all that kind of crap. They take it as a compliment. But me, I do not, because it's like if you're calling me king, that means you consider yourself to be a damn king too. You're not just calling me king like you think I'm the only king walking around. You call everybody king because see, you think you're king as well. All right. So, like I said, when people call me king, I kind of cringe at that. And the whole queen thing, I mean, let's not even get into that. Because I mean, from a lot of the shit I see from a lot of these women, especially these old mamas, they far from queens. Okay. Far her from I don't notice any queen like attributes about them. There's like nothing about them that rings up queen. Okay, maybe queen of the damned. Okay, queen queen of denial, queen of no accountability. I mean, I could go on and on and on when you talking about queens. I mean, there's nothing queenly about any of these people. There's nothing queenly about these people, man. These people are building themselves up along with fake trying to build other people up. And when the brothers are doing it, to be honest with you, I think it's mainly a pussy grab. Okay, they're trying to pander to these women, and come in with that, hey, what's good, queen? Let me drop some science on you, because see, when you call a woman when you call her queen, you're automatically putting her above all others, if only for that moment. Because see, the queen of a country is what? She's above all other women in there. She has more money, more power, more prestige, more resources, all of that, right? So when you walk to her and you say queen, you're putting her above all others. All you trying to do is make her twat moist. That's all you're trying to do. Now, like I said, if you calling your woman a queen, this is my queen, that's different. That's different than calling every black woman you lay your eyes on queen, or say, oh, look at all them black queens over there. That's totally different because you're talking about your woman. She's your queen. She's the queen of your kingdom, and vice versa with kings. But see, you don't hear the title king that much. I mean, I got a few people who use it, but you hear people calling black women queens a lot more. All right. And I think the fact that we use that so much that we have kind of given people this we've given them this label, right? We've given these women this label, and they've gotten this label without earning it. And I think that sets a bad precedent. I think a lot of that shit, is bad precedent along with other shit, because we do that with other stuff too, where we give people these titles and they haven't earned it. We give them these titles for the simple fact that they are black. And I don't want to be called something just because I'm black like you. All right. Me being black like you shouldn't automatically give you this reason to call me this thing that obviously you think you are too. You must think you're a king too if you're calling me a king, right? Another thing, yeah, you're right. Brother Omega Dreads, that's another thing. God, man, don't call me God, don't God. Like I said, we are always putting each other in these places, but I think a lot of times it's us putting each other in places where we think we are or where we think we want to be. We done been joined by my man, Brother Art. What's good, Brother Art? Is he here?
Can you hear me?
Now I can. Now I can. Oh, now I can't.
Can you
Now I
hear me
can.
now?
Yeah.
All right. She's the queen to be.
Oh Lord.
Whatever you like.
So
No.
what do you think about that, brother Art? What do you
Yeah.
think about it?
I had, because at first I was just gonna chill or whatever. But I had to, address some things because I think some other things are just not really put out there. There's a few books that people need to read out there. Sex and Race, Volume 1, that really gives you that Egyptian and Libyan, Nubian lineage towards slavery for here. There's another one called Man, God, and Civilization. There is another one called Black Men of the Nile by Joseph Inyakin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's tons of books out there that kind of show that it was more than just Angola and what was the other one you mentioned?
Yeah, I said Senegal and
Senegal.
Angola.
Right. I mean, yeah, Mozambique, all these places, man. And the thing is, it wasn't just straight to America. I mean, it went all over the place. I mean, and plus the Europeans were the ones that pretty much set the tone for chattel slavery. But also, I do understand what you're saying as far as just throwing it out there, just willy nilly. I mean, some people have to earn that title. And so I'm looking at it to where, I mean, like me myself, certain people have to give me a certain trait for me to even give them that title. Okay. But at the same time, I mean, I can understand where other people are coming from because not other people, but some people. I believe some people are not going literally, but they're just trying to change their way of thinking of how they see people and try to think the highest, even though it might not be the case. And then sometimes based on how a person responds, maybe they don't belong. Maybe they don't deserve to be called king or queen, but at least you put the energy out there. Literal stuff. Nah, I mean some people that's being called king and queen, we already know. I mean, we know what's up. But in the meantime, look at all the other names we call ourselves. Nigga, my bitch, this, all these type of things. But I don't hear that much pushback on that just as much as kings and queens. You
Yeah.
know, that's the thing I'm looking at as far as a higher way of thinking. So maybe that person is not really a king or queen per se, but if they hear it enough, I would prefer that programming than just having some kind of thing about my nigga and doing all the stereotype stuff. Even though they try to say that nigga means kings and all that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but they still can't point. They can't point on the map where it started.
Nigga
You
means king.
you
But
know.
I get that though. I get the whole, it's aspirational, it's inspirational, and all that kind of stuff. I'll give them that. I'll give them that. All right. But fine. You're trying to inspire people, to be better, to be greater, and all that kind of stuff. So why don't we walk around and say, hey, what's good, doctor? Hey, what's good, lawyer? What's good, accountant?
You know
Peace.
I do that.
Scientist?
You know
Peace.
I do that most of the
Astronaut?
time. Most of
Peace.
the time I do that.
Mathematician? Peace. Physicist? how come how come we don't walk around and say that?
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's programming, brother X. It's programming. And the thing is, sometimes you use the program so much where you don't want to leave it. You want to stay asleep. I mean, you have to look at how people respond and you have to look at the condition that people are in.
Mm-hmm.
If you're able to see that, I mean, you can try. Some people care and some people don't. But like I said, I mean, it depends on the person who's giving these titles, who's taking them. It depends on the person because, I mean, I think everything is all valid. Everything that everybody said tonight is all right. It's all true. You know, I always say that it's depends on the person, and then if your goal was to motivate someone to feel like a king, they probably can't prove any lineage and they pretty much start doing king stuff and queen stuff, that means you did your job. But it's the matter of what you want to do
Mm. Well,
and your goal.
we done been joined by my brother. BMT is in the house. What's good, man?
What's up, king? No, I'm joking.
No. No,
I'm just messing with y'all,
not here.
man.
Not here. That's why I keep the black hoodie on. No. No.
I'm eating some fried chicken and saying that too, by the way.
No.
Uh,
What's going on, everyone? Welcome. It's always amazing being here on Black Exodus, where I get to cut up and be
oh, you get to do whatever you want to do up on here, man.
every day, every week. I wake up just waiting for Black Exodus, just waiting for my email, just from.
So, what do you think of this whole king and queen thing, man? This queen and king thing. What's BMT's take on it?
It's a feel good. It's a feel good pep talk. It's a feel good speech. That the American African American Negro needs to feel good or feel like they have some type of worth. And it's an illogical type of title. It's an illogical title because when they call themselves, well, we all were kings and queens. I'm like, then who the hell built the pyramids? You ain't got no damn royalty out there in the mud slopping around and stuff. And if y'all were king and queen, then y'all don't show it. I hate the terminology. I do. It irks my nerve because, people of professions, they don't look for that. They don't. They're like, stop. Call me doctor, mister. You know what I'm saying? You give me my title, or give me my Mr., Mrs. But don't call me no king and queen. I stop people right in their track. Don't do that. You look foolish in front of everybody. You look foolish. It's a feel good, of some type of illogical thinking. This is something that it's like telling little kids, even when they're sucking at life, here's a pack of candy, and keep up the good work. We need to stop saying that because literally that has set us back. Stop calling all these goddamn black women queens. Like, hell no, they all ain't no damn queens. The damn sure ain't no dames, and they ain't no mistresses. Stop calling all these stop calling all these men your kings. The nigga, if you a king, what the hell or what? What are you doing? Why do you need that? Why do you need a feel good? Just be a man. Man up and accept your accountability. But see, when you have those kind of talks and you actually start nailing it into them, the cross of conviction of get your shit together, niggas don't want to hear that shit. See, I'm gonna call it like this. Kings and queens is nigga talk. That's nigga talk. It's the feel good bean pie, race the unk shit. No, stop. That shit's died a long time ago, and there's no disrespect, but it is what it is because we know that age of thinking is dying. I'm black and I'm proud. Okay, congratulations. You told me something that I see on a statistical paper that I already know that I am. Well, you also a king. Nigga, no, I'm not. I'm a black man in America. Ain't nobody, then get that white man to call me a king. Damn sure that shit ain't happening. Damn sure they ain't calling you no damn king. Ain't nobody outside of the black race calling you no king or queen. Why you be saying that shit? Nobody walks around the Asian. Oh, you, hello emperor, hello empress. Nobody's saying that shit. It's just us. Like we say that stuff, and I be like, when my other family members who aren't black heard one of us say that shit, they were laughing. I was like, y'all say that shit for real? I'm like, no. Now I understand I can't stop everyone from saying that. There's nothing wrong with that. I guess that's where you're in some epiphany of your life. But it's a feel-good dream of black children is still in Never Never Land. And they don't want to wake up. But if they were to wake up, they would unfuck themselves. A lot of them ain't trying to do that. I'm not calling no black woman who fucked up her life and her kids a queen. I'm not doing that. You're a fucked up mistress of death. I'm not calling no black man who's done umpteen shit in his life, and then after he's getting for a goddamn prison reform, you're still a king. What the fuck? Of what? Death? Destruction? Chaos? Like, no. We need to stop giving out these goddamn trophies of buffoonery. Like, this is the problem why we're backwards now. Then all of a sudden somebody call you the N-word that's not black. I'm offended. Well, shit, I thought you was a king. How did those words touch you so easily? If those words were so strong, then how is it possible that your woman has more authority than you, king? If she's such a queen, then why is she right now at the lowest statistic of validation for society right now? You see, when we start playing these games and start looking at this shit going on in America, in corporations, in schools, in society and politics, you ain't coming up as that king and queen like people keep trying to tell you outside of that goddamn block. So what then? What then? You king and queen, then why are you telling black men to come back to the to the community? If you're such a king and queen, you don't need no people who already left out of the community to come back to fix your kingdom. Oh wait, your kingdom is broken. It's falling down. But you need other people to come help you build it up. But shit, the foundation been busted up long time ago. You still trying to act with chivalry. Chivalry's been dead. Ain't no knights anymore. And they damn sure ain't that many ladies left. The only ones that are left are already being snatched up or ran through. Unless you already got one. And everybody got a fucking backstory. So let's miss that shit. All we got is rogues and thieves. You take what you can and get the fuck out. I'm not here to help no feelings or make y'all feel good. I'm here to let y'all know, stop that king and queen shit. That's why, and me and Art, we had a talk. The younger generation, that shit's dying. That shit's gonna be a dead term soon enough.
Oh man,
it is. I literally talked to some kids at a preparatory school. I said, y'all call each other y'all call yourselves king and queens. What? They looked at me crazy. I'm gonna be a doctor. That's what they said. Put doctor in front of my name. Put sir when I become that engineer or that head of supervisor. They want those. That's the titles we need to be fighting for.
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, if we're gonna be walking around giving people these, inspirational and aspirational titles, how about we say, hey, what's good, doctor? What's good, scientist? What's good, mathematician? What's good, physicist? No, because see, king and queen is an empty freaking title for most people. Because most people, the majority of people will never become one. Okay. King and queen is something fantasy like, a king, a queen, a prince, a princess, that's some shit that exists in other places besides the United States of America. All right. So it's like fantasy, it's Snow White, and the Seven Dwarfs, it's that kind of shit. It's all fantasy, man. It's fairy tales. And see, what has happened is we have gotten so used to fairy tales that we think fairy tale shit is actually complimentary. We believe that if somebody walks up and calls us a king or queen, they're giving us a compliment. No, the hell they're not. No, they're not. They're giving us an empty title. They're calling us something that we will never be. They're calling us something that we didn't do anything to earn. They're calling us something that they think they are. All right? Because I'll say again, there's no way you're calling me a king and you don't think yourself to be one. Okay?
Well, if your name is Leroy, that means the king. If your name is Ray, that means king too. So anybody named Ray, you might as well change your name.
But
or Raina.
Let me say this. We don't hear king as much as we hear queen when it comes to women. When it comes to black women, we always hear this queen shit. I think it's just a pussy grab. They're trying to get the women's crotches moist. That's all that is. Because it's hard for a woman to turn a dude away when he walk up and be like, peace, queen. Was good. I mean, it's hard to turn that away.
I got a question for all you guys. If these, I guess we call them hotel hustlers or what have you. Mm-hmm. If they're using queen so much, is it working? Are they really getting the draws or whatever you're talking about? I mean, are they really reaching their goal when they keep using queen so loosely?
It probably is working on some of the chicks. I'm pretty sure it is. Because when you got, we got this whole hotep section, of black society, one of the millions of black societies, and there's a hotep section. Okay. And this is what the hoteps do to, make the ladies feel better. Because, You are a winner in black society.
Oh
If
yeah,
if
that's a nice
if
trophy.
yeah, if your deal is making women feel better. Boy, if you make black women feel better, you're the fucking man, boy. I mean, they will sing your praises. If you are a person who all you do is walk around and say queen and say I love baby mamas and all that kind of shit, if you that kind of person, boy, you
Uh,
talking about a following, you would have a ridiculous following. All you got to do is uplift, okay, quote unquote uplift. I call it lying up to, because I don't believe most black people want to be uplifted. I think a lot of black people want to be lied up to. And when I'm calling you a queen, I'm not uplifting you at all. I'm lying to you because you're no goddamn queen. Queen of what? Queen of what? When I hear women say, because I hear women say that in real life, I'm a queen. My next question is, queen of what? Queen
uh,
of what?
Sister Classic Ruby.
Yes, sir.
Um, can you tell? Oh, peace. No, I ain't gonna say queen, unless you want me to.
Please don't. Please. Lord Jesus, no.
Anyhow,
Mm-mm.
well, lioness. I stick with lioness.
Thank you.
Now, can you tell instances in any sincerity if someone is being sincere or not sincere when they call you queen, or if they did?
Honestly, almost every time someone has said it, I mean, in real life, it sounds like a line. Like it sounds like a pickup line. I'm trying to make you blush and feel all special inside and whatever, so that way the rest of my game will work. It's an in. Um, the few times I've seen it as like it feels more genuine, quote unquote, is on YouTube, right? When people say, "What's up, sister? What's up, brother?" Like instead of in that place, they say, "What's up, queen?" And I just see them kind of just they just acknowledge all women as queen, all men not. You know what? No, not really. I don't see men acknowledge other men as king, but they
We don't
acknowledge.
say that dumb shit.
No, it's weird. Especially not in this sector, at least. So those guys who are just like sub queen and they just move on, that it seems like they mean it in some way, like that's what you're supposed to do. Though I don't think that it comes from a genuine place where they're putting any reverence into it. It's just they've replaced the word sister with the word queen.
Hmm, okay.
Does that let me ask you, Lady Ruby,
Hmm.
because you and I we've dealt with each other for quite some time.
Yes, sir.
Do you I mean, what do you think when a brother walk up on you, I guess he's trying to holler at you or whatever. What comes to your mind when he be like, "Peace, Queen, what's going on?" I mean, does he come off as the straight hotep hustler? Does he come off as somebody who may be serious about you? Or I mean, what do you think? As a lady, what do you
Mhm.
think when the brothers walk up with "Peace, Queen, what's good"? What do you think when they come up and say that? Does that even happen? Does that happen in Canada at all?
Sadly, yeah, it has happened. You know what? I will say that I have that inward cringe, first of all. I think part of that is because I mean, unless you're a really, really masculine guy, there and the way that you said it was almost like reggae styles, which does happen. Um, it sound which again that just sounds like a come on, but otherwise you kind of sound simpish to me. Like you sound like you're going to be the kind of guy who is going to lie on the floor and wants me to walk all over you just for the opportunity to date me. Like that's what runs through my head. Like it's not complimentary thoughts that I feel about a guy who comes to me and you don't know me. Normally I'm in some type of tracksuit, so it's not like I'm dressed up to the nines where you think, oh, maybe she's a millionaire. And you're just like, oh, sup, queen, I saw you over there. And it just sounds like you're begging. And I just don't have time for people who are begging.
Ah, remember that, fellas. When you come up with that queen shit, you
But
sound
queen
like a
is in
freaking
poetry a lot, ain't it?
beggar.
It's always
Well, I
always in
can't say
poetry.
that. You only sound like a beggar to a normal woman. If you're talking to one of them hotep girls, that's music right there. When you say "What's up, Queen," that's music. So
Hmm.
you got to assess who you're saying it to now. If you talk to the hotep, hoes. You in. If you talk to somebody like Lady Ruby, She gonna kick your ass to the curb. Remember that. Assess the situation, brothers. BM, BMT,
Yep.
you a married man,
Mhm.
like I am, like Brother Art is. And something tells me that neither one of you brothers never refer to your queen as a queen, because there is a difference. She's your queen, right? She's not a queen, because she's a queen. That means she's queen over a lot of shit, not
Sex,
just your household.
housing, queen over battle, damaged pussy. Yep. There's all kind of kingdoms that they can have. There's all kind of kingdoms that they can have. But let me know when you want me to rip, Prophet.
Let it pull the trigger. Pull the trigger.
You have this last.
Pull the trigger.
I told y'all, Black Exodus is not a place for everybody.
No, it's not.
Let me tell you right now. Queen is only used for when a man sees a mentally battle damaged, easily vulnerable, and fucked up. So if I can easily say queen, that means I got you, bitch. Because I know that if you fell for the okie doke, then that means you're stupid. If a woman is telling you to call her or recognize her as a queen, that means she sees you as a bitch, weak, pathetic, underneath her, subjugated. I've never called no fucking woman no queen. You know, the only time I would tell a bitch, goddamn, you a goddamn queen is if I'm trying to fuck you. Once I damn fucked you, you done gone to the to the town tramp. You got no validation because you gave me the jewels. You see, this thing right here where we calling these women queens and they falling all over. I'm a queen this, but then where's your kingdom? Where's your man? Where's your king? How are you a queen? Who's your subjects? Your kids? I mean, we already know that a lot of these queens use their doggone children subjugated under all kind of oppressive rule and dumb shit. We've had these talks. I mean, there aren't really no kings, but I guess you could be king of the simps if you want to be. But I've seen these chats where men go around and say, all of you are kings and queens, but then the motherfuckers in there all got some kind of backstory of fuckery. And see, when we look at it right now, a man will never just call a random woman a queen because, first of all, that's not your bitch. It's not your woman. Why would you say that? I mean, you heard it from Ruby. An established woman said that when a man walks up to her and says that dumb shit, she knows that you are a joke, a clown, a fool, a jester. Since you want to call her a queen, then you are the jester. You are the town fool. Congratulations. When you men call a woman a queen, qualified, underrated, unequal, unvalidated pussy. That is honestly what you just called her. I forgot the damn acronym I wrote out for queen. But I'm telling you right now, she is no queen. She's the town tramp for the time being. And see, you're trying to raise her up into something that she will never be. Unless she has that ring on you, she's not yours. Why are you giving her that type of praise? What has she done for you? Understand this, black woman. We done watch ghetto gaggers and every other kind of unholy shit that we seen you in. You are far from that. You have done pimped out your daughters and your sons and fucked up so much damn unholy shit. You don't get that title. For a lot of the men that done succulated and then mama boys, you done fucked up everything for everybody. So nobody wants these titles. These titles are meaningless and dead. Dead gods and dead fools. So when you say this stupid shit, we look at you as what type of leadership do you have authority over? Because then when we start to challenge that and we look at it, this is why the children of the new generation are running away from the old talking points. Because they see how many men done walked in to mama's house and called her queen. You done had 5 kings walk in one goddamn month, but then mama's still the queen? Of what? You done said, well, daddy, ain't you a king? Nigga, I ain't see your ass in goddamn 2 years, nigga. How you, what king of what? When the last time you picked me up and throw out a football? And you see, when we start calling out all this buffoonery in black conduct, see, y'all niggas gotta understand, man. You see, you're not fun. You're not even taken seriously anymore. You're still trying to figure out how to get reparations. What kind of king and queen have to beg for their reparations? Have to go to another kingdom for appeasement. Have to tell them that if you say the wrong words, they can easily check your ass. See, then what type of authority are you truly running? I mean, I'm not trying to doggone be nice to y'all motherfuckers anymore. I can tell y'all right now. See, because when you say certain things to the mass, see, they don't like that. See, they like the feel good preaching of a preacher saying that everybody's going to heaven, everybody gets their crown of Jews. No, all you niggas ain't going to heaven. If honestly, I would throw y'all in the rocks of hell because you're not kings, you're not queens, you're delusional children that want some type of appeasement. You don't give a fuck about your people. You don't give a fuck about your children. We got more children in the system than goddamn immigrants. But y'all motherfuckers want to be called kings and queens. We got doggone the school system is gone to shit. But y'all rather worry about doggone fucking goddamn the newest Jordans coming out. Women more worried about doggone birthrights of abortion, but damn, y'all ain't doing shit for the kids that are already on the earth now. Man, y'all talk about damn child support, but man, nigga, then put up your goddamn penis in your pants and stop making all these fucking bastard ass kids. You done fucked up everything. And you want us to come back to a fucking battle damaged, fucked up kingdom. Nobody's fucking with y'all no more. Nobody gives a shit about y'all. Only dead kings and battle fucked up mistresses say this dumb rhetorical shit. But you want us to take you into our doggone groups and the communities. You get mad when we don't give you handouts. But then you'll say we're looking down on you. We're talking down on you. You can't talk about my baby. Your baby's been the fucked up goddamn jester of society for damn 20 years, and you still want us to take you in. No, nigga. Unfuck yourself. This is why we're having a hard time. This is why y'all are clutching on to the hashtag ADOS movement. Since when did royalty need to cling on to a hashtag? Because you're not. You're just a bunch of children thrown aside by the wayward. And you can come at me and say, Joe, you're young, you're right. I don't want shit to do with any of y'all fucked up kingdoms. Kick me out. Exile me. I'm good. Let me be Ronin. But I damn sure don't want none of y'all kingdoms. Go ahead, Prophet.
I love BMT. This is the thing. We hear this, and like I said earlier, we hear queen more than we hear anything else. And like I said earlier, the title is unearned. A woman can do some of the most messed up shit, and she still wants to be considered a king. She can be the biggest harlot, the worst whore. She can be a baby mama 9 and 10 times over, but somehow she's still a queen. And we all know where this comes from, don't we? We all know where it originated from our old.
My mama said that same shit. She was a queen.
That's where it all begins, folks.
Uh-huh.
Mom tells us she's a queen, while she beats you bloody. Mom tells you she's a queen while you watch dudes go in and out the house, walking in and out of her room like it's a cigar lounge in there. But she's still a queen. Her boyfriend's coming to your room at night and touch on you. But mom is still a queen. Mom leaves you home 3 and 4 days at a time with no food. But mom is still a queen. And I think what has happened is we pass this shit on because, see, we say, well, mama beat us bloody. Mommy half fed us, half housed us, half clothed us. But she's still a queen. So if these chicks out here act like straight thoughts, they must be still queens too, right? These chicks out here fighting in the street and fighting with other people while they holding their babies on their hip. They must be still queens because old mama did all this crazy shit and she was still a queen, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think, I don't even think it's so much as the black woman per se, as much as it is the black. See, we got this thing with these old black mamas, okay? Not the thing that I have, because I think these old mamas are absurd with how they do shit. But we got this thing with these old mamas. Because, see, that sort of goes, that's sort of an unearned title too, when you think about it. Because, see, you don't have to do much to be a mama. All you got to do is lay down and let somebody fuck you. That's it. You don't have to do much more than that. And a lot, a lot that I've noticed inside black society, we have a tendency to, just because a woman has a baby, not only does she consider that an accomplishment, we have a tendency to consider it an accomplishment too. Now, I'm not saying that's on the surface, subconsciously. Why? Because, see, we've been indoctrinated by our old mama. She had us. So she made us believe that the simple fact that she had us, despite how she treated us, despite how she neglected us, abused us, and all that kind of stuff, none of that matters. She had us. So that makes her whatever. That makes her the queen. That makes her the empress. That makes her the goddess. That makes her the fairy, the dwarf, the dragon, Peter Pan, whatever. Makes her all of that shit. So we have a tendency, man, to go ahead and project that shit onto other women. That's kind of what we do. Okay, that's one of the black folks' dirty little secrets. We transfer the shit from our old mama onto other women. So if she's able to pump out a baby or two, she automatically earned the title of mama and at the same time earned the title of queen. I think that's where we are. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, that's total bullshit in the real world because, you know, parts of the black world are not in the real world. We got to understand that parts of the black world is not the real world. And I think sometimes we get confused. We get confused and we actually think some of this fantasy bullshit that we got going on is actually part of the real world. But it's not. It's not. It's just not. It isn't. I mean, at some point, man, we have to start dealing with what is. I know calling people kings and queens is, you know, it's good to talk about things how they should be because that's what you're basically doing. When you call some, when you're walking around calling everybody king and queen, what you're doing is you're talking in a sense of how things should be. But should be isn't reality.
But you know what's funny, Prophet? Um, Everywhere I go, they're probably gonna say that at my funeral. I have the tendency to call everybody doctor. You know, I'm not sure if that's equal to queen, king and queen. I'm like, what's up, Doctor Such and Such? And it's funny because people like some people like, huh, me? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, what's up? I mean, live in the moment. My whole thing is that whatever word or title you can give out there to give some kind of motivation without trying to get the panties, I guess, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But if you try to give some kind of motivation, especially children, I mean, that's where it starts. I don't know about the king and queen stuff,
Right.
but you got to have some kind of higher title or higher name that's above the norm. Because I think that's where we kind of fall short of. Because I mean, just listen to music today.
Yeah.
I had to really pull my son's headsets. It's like, what do you listen to, man? And I forgot the name of these guys that, I try to tune that new stuff out. I need to listen, I need to pay attention. But just for like maybe over a minute, I heard nothing but bitch, niggas be hating, these hoes in 1 minute. And I was like, I said, son, why are you listening to this? He said, it's cool. I said, who said it? I mean, who gave you the idea that it's cool when you know I blow that in the house? And he's like, well, I just thought he was trying to find a way out of it, but he couldn't justify it. And then I asked him, I said, well, I heard a lot of the word bitches and hoes in this song. I said, you know a lot of girls that listen to this stuff? He said, yeah, a lot of girls at the school. I said, what do you think? How do you think they feel about themselves after listening to this? He gave me a little shoulder dance, but I'm like, and I went for the jugular. I said, you think your mom listened to this stuff and then feel a certain way, like feel good about this? And he had to say, he was like, I don't think so, because his mom's an MGT, she in the nation. So I'm like, I said, you might want to rethink what you put in your head, because when you hear so much of it, you become that experience. You probably you wouldn't know it, but it's like it's programming. I mean, we already have somebody that's on YouTube calling certain people names, and they wind up procreating with them. So you
Exactly.
you
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna get that. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So
Drink to that
I'm
right
like, if I'm going to say something over and over again, hell, I mean, I'm gonna try to come up with the highest title. I'd rather have that programming. Whatever it is, whatever works. Because everybody can't have the same title.
there. Right.
It's
You
true.
know.
It's true.
Um.
But don't you think, before you go, brother BMT,
Go ahead, bro.
don't you think that fine? I mean, we all into this. Let's uplift. AKA lie up to folks. Isn't it more realistic because you're more likely to become a lawyer than you are a king? You're more likely to become a doctor than you are a king. You're more likely to become, a nurse than you are a queen. You're more likely to become a scientist than you are a queen. So if we're going to be throwing these things out at people, shouldn't they have a little bit of realistic qualities to them? Because if I'm projecting saying calling you king and queen, I'm lying to you. There's no possible way ever that you're going to be a goddamn a king. You're not. Okay? Especially if you somebody who don't even know who your damn daddy is. Because the only way for you to be king is if your daddy was king. All right. And then he died, and now you're king. That's probably the only way you're going to be king. So, I mean, realistically, the chances of you becoming a king or queen are slim and none. They're slim and none. So if I'm going to be throwing these things at you to inspire you, to give you desire, give you ambition, give you interest, I should be calling you something that's more realistically obtainable for you, more realistically achievable for you. Because your black ass ain't never gonna be no queen of anything. Your black ass ain't never gonna be a king of anything except your own. You're only gonna be queen or king of the shit that you build. Okay? That's the only thing you're gonna be the king and queen of. But you can be a psychiatrist. You can be a doctor. You can be a lawyer. You can be an accountant. You can be, that's realistic. I say again, why not walk around and be like, hey, lawyer, hey, what's good, doctor? I mean, why not do that? Why the king and queen thing? If it's all about inspiring folks, why not inspire them with something that's more realistically obtainable? Go ahead, BMT.
So I go around calling people Mr. and Mrs. I feel like it has a refinery to it. When I give you I put respect to Mr. Art, Mrs. Ruby, Mr. X. I give you respect. And I say that to little children. And one time a ninth grader asked me at a school, Mr. Johnson, you don't got to call me that. I said, yes, I do. I said, I know you're not used to having somebody respect you. So I'll start with there. You see, if we start off with the Mr. and Mrs. instead of, some females are used to be. I watch girls, and Ruby can attest to this. Girls who are fluent will call each other, "That's my bitch. That's my
Yep.
bae."
Mm-hmm.
Men like calling each other, "That's my nigga. That's my Negro." Or they would call each other, then they call each other my nigga, but then see y'all freak out when a white man called y'all nigger. But then now y'all call each other nigga. But then now the women get mad when the men call y'all bitch. But then y'all call each other bitch in the songs, y'all everyday talk. But then y'all
And
want other
hug
people
each
with
other
friends to
too.
call y'all the queen. Yeah, yeah. So you eat and you absorb these titles. And I agree with Prophet when he said the first where it came from, it came out of the mouth of a woman when mama, she wanted respect. Because she was tired of niggas running up in the house, nutting up in her, and giving her little subjects. You gonna call me mama. You gonna give me respect.
Mama.
You see, you forget that Tupac said, even though you a crack fiend mama, you still a queen mama. Whoa, BMT's doing it tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all forget doggone boys to men, mama. See, we watch all these grown men, naughty by
Sound
nature,
programming to
all of
me.
them always calling their mamas queens. And all these boys were coming out of single parent household, fucked up. We seen their backstories. We seen their autobiographies. And yet these boys grew up with no respect, come from junkie, impoverished areas. And I understand why art is saying, like, listen, I'm trying to give them some type of hope. Because we understand that from these areas, there ain't no real fucking hope. Coming out of a goddamn home saying, yo, who's my daddy? I don't know who your dad. I'm your daddy. So wait, you're your daddy? Now you're the queen and the king? Yeah, you my prince or you my king. So now you're gonna tell the little boy he's a king. Even though there's an older dude who comes up in the house and slap him upside the head and bang his mama out and then walk out. Probably drop off $15 on the goddamn stove. So you start running out in the street trying to find yourself a kingdom. Trying to find yourself a loyal bitch or queen. Some dog in heat. And you get mad because other black people who woke up from the dream said, yo, outside of this community, ain't nobody see us as no damn kings and queens. Or what, the roaches? Or the goddamn crack needles? Of the cesspool of goddamn bastard children? See, they people outside of your goddamn house see the goddamn roaches coming out. They see the bullshit. And you see now after a while, the child that makes it, they're like, nah, nigga, I don't feel you. Wait, how you gonna call me a nigga? Because that's always what you've been. You never been that. You just wanted some type of validation of respect for your existence or why you've been fucking up everything. Literally a woman who lost all 6 of her kids somehow. And the older child said, I don't want to go back. She said, I'm your mother. You will respect me. But you lost all 6 of us and you're pregnant already. Why the fuck should that child love that mother? You done lost 6 of your kids and you got another child and you're pregnant with. And you're sleeping on the couch of your mama's house. You see, this is the hypocrisy of the goddamn fucked up kingdom of Wakanda that y'all want us to start giving montage to and praise to. Be chivalrous to goddamn women who don't act like no fucking goddamn women. Treat men with respect that don't even respect society or have any type of respect for themselves. Men of valor carry themselves with a certain type of valor and dignity. You carry yourself like wild beast. You get mad at people because they don't respect you, but you don't respect yourself because you don't fix up your clothing. You don't fix up your language or how you talk to other men. But then you want respect when you come in certain pools or parties or panels and you say, hey, why don't y'all give me that respect? Why do you treat me like a less than or an animal? Well, motherfucker, the way you spoke to us the last time, or you saw us as the problem, Now you're coming up to us for the validation, or we all should be together forever. Nah, nigga, fuck all that shit.
Well, we've been joined by Brother Fantastic. What's good, Brother Fantastic?
Oh shit, yeah, I don't even have
Yo, what up?
bro. I don't even
Good,
have
man.
bro. Fucking got
What up?
bro. What's up, Fantastic?
What's going on with you, bro?
What's up, King? No, I'm just messing with you.
Don't start that king shit.
What's up, Art with the timely.
Well, let me ask you, Brother Fantastic, now that you're here, what's your take on this king? Because we've been talking about this shit for a while. What's your take on this whole king and queen shit?
Well, first of all, man, bro, for inviting me on your platform, man, and having the chance to speak, get my little 2 cents and whatnot. But yeah, man, my take on it is, as I said before, we have a lot of delusions of grandeur in the black community, man. And a lot of people want to say, oh well, it's the positive reinforcements and things like that. But in actuality, like I said, man, you can directly link this king and queen shit to, like I said, hidden colors, bro. Tariq Nasheed hit with the first hidden colors, and like I said, that one I would say, at least gave us some sort of historical data from the black perspective that we never heard of, that we may not have known about. But after that, everything after it, man, was just a double down on, contributing to again the delusions and the inaccountability of us as a people, man. And I just think, when you say or you claim that you're a king or a queen, where's your crown? Okay, where your crown's at? Where your land's at? Where's your wealth at? Okay, when you use terms, I know in today's society, a lot of meanings of words are subjective. That's a big issue we have. But you get back to it, and like I say, you look at the nobility throughout the annals of history, and those were the elite. Those were the best of the best, the top, and the people that led societies and things like that. And I don't understand how you can lead from the bottom, as we've been in the black community for a while here. And I just think, man, we need to be a lot more critical than we are of, I guess, praising and being cordial, when that in itself is fake. Because like I said, don't nobody not get along like black folks, bro. Okay, and that's something we need to work on. But again, that starts at the home level, and a good culture and a respect of self and your fellow man, what I'm saying, a person of your race, your demographic, starts in your home, because you're taught that love for yourself and that respect for yourself and all those things. And that's where the true, king, queen, all these great things should be instilled, versus coming from complete strangers and just being, empty words. That's my take on it, bro.
Anybody else want to chime in? Lady Ruby?
Yeah, I just wanted to add something. I was thinking about it before because someone in the chat said, well, yeah, I think that, the queen and the king titles, it encourages you to do things. And, as I was sitting here, I just remembered that, they've actually done studies on exactly this, about getting praised for things that you haven't accomplished, or even things that you're actually working towards, but you haven't gotten there yet. So I'll give you one example that I remember they tested. So people who were going to run a marathon. Now, what they did was they tested people. It was like a few thousand people. And what they did was, all these people who were going to run the marathon, they just gave them 2 conditions. Either they couldn't tell anyone they were going to run this marathon, or they could tell whoever they wanted. And what they noticed is that the people that told their friends and family, hey, I'm going to run a marathon, they got a lot of praise. Like, oh my God, really? You're going to run a marathon? You're going to train for a marathon? That's awesome. That's great. They got so much praise. And all of the reward centers in their brains were lighting up. They already felt validated. They felt like they made it. So they were really, really unlikely to actually complete the marathon, let alone train for it at all. Whereas in the people who told nobody were incredibly likely to both train for the marathon and to actually complete it. So, it tells us, we're trying to do something, I think, to counteract some of the negativity we have in the culture. And, instead of removing words like, bitch or the N word or whatever from our vocabulary, what we want to do is combat it by adding some other word. So we're not going to remove these negative words that have negative connotations and that make us live down to these negative connotations, especially when we hear them from other groups. No, we're just going to add new ones to the list. And these are supposed to make us feel great. But what we need to realize is that when we're walking around and we are calling people these names, king, queen, that automatically implies, a sense of reverence and adulation. It's praise. You're getting praise. The reward centers in your brain light up like a Christmas tree. This is why it works as a great pickup line. But what it doesn't do is encourage you to do anything more than what you are doing right now. So if you aren't already doing something amazing, if you aren't already accomplishing something amazing when someone gives you such a sense of reverence and respect, what's your motivation to really try to get there? Right? What's your motivation to try to improve yourself or be better, or even to see yourself as something that needs improvement when you already deserve to be so highly respected? I mean, that's why I do actually disagree even with the whole calling someone lawyer, doctor, or whatever if they haven't achieved it. There has to be a reason. There has to be some type of motivation that we have to say, hey, listen, if I work really hard for this thing and I get this PhD, then people call me doctor. So you know what? That's when I'm going to get respect. That's when I'm going to get praise. That's when I'm going to feel a sense of accomplishment and validation. When I accomplish something, when I deserve validation because I've actually done something worth giving that attention to. And I think that as long as we continue to sit there and throw these words and just try to make people feel better about themselves for, 5 seconds, instead of recognizing like, hey, listen, I would love to make you feel better about yourself. I would love to give you that respect and adulation. Okay, great. Now go and do something so that way I can respect you for it. So that way I can praise you for it. And I'm going to give you the respect and adulation you deserve. So if you have accomplished, I don't know, whatever it is, whatever degree, whatever opening that business, I'm going to hold you in a higher respect and a higher regard than someone who's accomplished nothing. There has to be a separation between people who have accomplished nothing, who are about nothing, who are doing nothing, who are going nowhere, who aren't even trying, and people who have actually had a lot of success because they worked really hard, because they put in that time and that effort and that energy. Otherwise, what's the point? And I mean, yeah, sure, there should be a million other reasons why you want to accomplish things in life. But, what our social circles think about us, what society thinks about us, the level that they put us in, that matters. We're programmed to think that that matters. So there's got to be a difference.
Do you think that, and I'll ask this of all of you, do you think that that is part of the challenge with us as Black folks, that we often try to grab, some shit that we haven't earned per se? Um, because that's what you're doing when you're calling people kings and queens and all kind of nonsense, because they haven't earned that title and probably never will. But is that a common theme inside of Black society where we want this, we have this entitled kind of mentality that we deserve certain shit, even though we haven't done shit to earn it. Other people have put in work, but we want to reap the benefits. Is this whole calling each other king and queen, is that an extension of that, where, like I said earlier, we're not just trying to project this imaginary title onto someone else. We obviously think that way of ourselves as well, because like I said before, Why else would we be calling other people that unless we think of ourselves as that? Now, I guess that has benefits to it if you if that's the only goddamn thing you can do to make yourself feel better is call yourself king and queen. I understand that. But for those of us who have shit going on in our life, I mean, it's kind of confusing because if I'm giving you this empty imaginary title, I'm actually being disingenuous to you. I mean, I'm just calling you that for no goddamn reason whatsoever. I mean, there's no
Mhm.
reason for me to call you that except for the fact that you're black like me, okay? And even
Mhm.
that seems to be you're pandering, because a lot of this so-called uplifting, aka lying up to people, is pandering, man. It's trying to duck out of, saying what really is. It's
Ooh.
trying to duck out of what's really going on. And I think in a way it's ducking out of what you really think. Because when you walk up to somebody, when you walk up to one of these old women that weigh 250 pounds, she got on a badass wig, 5 screaming kids behind her. When you see her, do you really think queen? Really? Do you really think queen? When you see this brother, okay, broke, smell like he ain't bathed in 5 days, clothes hanging off of him, talking foolishness, 40 years old, living in his mama's basement. When you see him, do you really think queen? I mean, king? Do you really think king when you see him? So we're bullshitting you. If we're walking around calling everybody king and queen, we're bullshitting you. Because I tell you what, a lot of the women that I see, man, running around here, the last thing I think when I see them is queen. That's the last thing on my mind. I can think of 9 million other shit. I could think of 9 million other shitty ass titles I could give them, but queen is not one of them. Okay, queen is not one of them. When I think of someone who would fit the quote unquote description of a queen, I think more of the Shahrazad Ali type, um, maybe even a Michelle Obama type, someone who has exhibited certain qualities about themselves that we've seen in public, the way they carry themselves, the way they speak, the way they deal with people, how they walk down the street. You know, when you talk about women of that archetype, that's different. I could see someone calling them queen out of respect for their body of work, for how they carry themselves, how they dress, how they deal with their men. That I could see. All right. I can see that. And I don't just say that because I know Sister Ali, but I mean, I could see people calling her queen. I could see that. But to just call random ass people king and queen, you're BSing them, man. And you're not telling them what you really think. You're not. You're
I can
not.
holler. I holler a little bit. It kind of applies to calling people brother and sister. Not everybody's your brother, not everybody's your sister, but we call people that loosely too. And I don't even know how we regard family, you know, from all the conditions that we endured. So, I mean, it just, like I said, depends on the combination of words that you could use. Where you had Cocaine Kales mentioned, why don't you just call them by their name? You know, if you don't know the right thing to say, just call them by their name. But in the meantime, if you do have a goal, then I guess you try the best way you can. But at the same time, you want to make sure that goal is very genuine and have some kind of some good results to that, because it almost seems like you putting the what do you call it, the advanced student in the special ed class and putting them all together. And so you got to find some way to differentiate it so you can, make things happen because we don't have that many black professionals like we should. We don't have that many black people that do the things that we need to do. We have some, but it has to start somewhere. We got to do something. Um, but yeah, I think mainly we got to find some way to make sure that we start using these words properly if you're going to use them.
So, so
Yeah. So my bad. BNT, you want to go ahead?
yeah, let me I'm gonna give it to you, fam. Um, I wanted to say when we said brother and sister, the origin of that, and this is why I always encourage us to learn our history. You see, the first thing that they would always do is separate the family. Some black children did not grow up in their home. They grew up. If I had to, I would go to Fantastic's home. His mama would take me in. I almost became like his brother because I grew up so close to him. He was like my brother. I slept at his house. That was at around the time where brothers and you just called them brother and sister because at that time there was a form of networking where people would just take in other people's children. If the mama wasn't doing right or wasn't on code, it would be nothing for that one day. Ruby would have come in the house and just take the child's clothes and take the child out the house. Y'all get what I'm saying? So after a while, the displacement of the child, after a while, brothers became, this is my brother, this is my sister. This is my family. Because the street became, in a sense, your family. Before even the street, it was the community was my family. That's when there was accountability at the time. See, we're grasping for when we used to be like this. When if your family got split up, the next person would step up and pick you up. Now, where it came to for the king and queen thing was for the validation of the young boys are being told that they're kings because the mamas were queens because there was no king in the home. So guess what? That would make you the prince who's going to one day be a king of the household, but you technically weren't ready for that role because you didn't learn from your father what it meant to be a king. You didn't actually get that learning. You were learning it from the streets and other hard knocks. So your mom was trying to teach you how to be a man, but she was teaching you the feminine aspects of being a man. So you never truly understood teaching. So it started to dilute, started to water down. See, the king and queen started becoming the feel-good speech. The brother and sister was, I am my what? Brother's keeper. So my neighbor, I hold you accountable. And if I'm off code, you hold me to code. King and queen, who checks the king and queen? Oh, right. You can't check mama. Oh, right. Daddy's fucked up. But see, daddy's a rolling stone. Mama can't check him. But daddy gonna do what the fuck he want to do. You see, that's why I said the king and queen title, we got to stay away from that kind of shit. Because see, that type of unfuckery type of conditioning, see, you can't check them. See, that's why they say, what is the term that they use? Only God can judge me. See, I told you.
Like a tattoo. Famous tattoo.
I told you, only God can judge me. Mama will say that a lot, Prophet. We know that, man. You can't judge me. Well, mama, you can't judge me, boy, or get out my house. What kind of queen does that? But see, these are the times we got to call it out for what it is, man. And these things have trickled down where they lost meaning and validation. But see, you accept I'm a nigga, he's a nigga. Wouldn't you like to be a nigga too? I need a gangster bitch. See, after a while, we started flipping the titles and stuff. Where we started seeing the thug as the hero. We started seeing the educated guy who we used to respect as the what? Lame. See, we're not going to pretend like these titles throughout the black community are like going to Alice in Wonderland. They're just turning down and getting fucked up. The woman who's not doing the correct behavior in society and she has multiple children, she's wasting her time. We're still calling her queen? The queen doesn't share. The queen only gives herself to the king. What kind of king are you and you ain't controlling shit? And you don't have no home. You're not running shit, but yet you're going to be called a king. All right, but you're the king of all the hoes and bitches. You're just a pimp. You're just a succubus. But see, that's the problem we got going on. And see, when other blacks want to call this shit out and say, yo, you're just fucked up, nigga, we need to get the fuck away from y'all. Oh, nah, man, nah, you foul, you out of code. No, I'm not out of code. You have no respect for yourself. So why should I give you my grandeur of respect? See, I had to earn everybody on this panel's respect at one time, and they have mine. But king and queen, they don't get mine because there are no king and queens, just fools and jesters. I'll give it over to you, Fantastic.
Yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate it. But yeah, X, like you said, man, you brought up someone as polarizing, as impactful as Sister Shahrazad Ali, and a woman that came from a previous generation of where you actually had principles, values, family structures, understanding of the woman's place versus the man's place. A lot of these ideas that have sadly died and withered away, as we've gotten further and further along in society and adopted a lot more of these, quote unquote, American feminism, political ideologies, a lot of different things. So, it's a lack of standards. And again, when you have a lack of standards, and it's uncommon for you to see a lot of these things where, like, Shahrazad Ali's in your times, you had a mother and a father, you had two-parent households. And now, like you said, everything's one-sided, so you only get one side of the story, which is usually due to the fact that it's coming from a female. It's untrue. It's extremely biased and it's manipulative. A lot of these men are that's why you hear the queen moniker more than you hear the king, because again, in the black community, unfortunately, the woman is over the man. And when you look at any successful society in the history of the world, no woman ran fucking society ever turns out well. All right. Okay, Egypt got fucked up when they let Cleopatra let Julius Caesar come in there, or not Julius Caesar. What, it's Augustus Caesar, right?
Yeah.
One or two.
Mhm.
Augustus.
Yeah.
Yeah, come in and fucking overthrow it and take and steal the culture, rape the land, all of these things, because what, the woman is going to submit to power no matter who it is. Okay, so another big thing BNT said was about the brotherhood and sisterhood thing. Again, that's a great question to ask. And Art brought up also, man. We're trying to hold standards of the past that just don't exist today. All right, brother and sister back then was because the extended family was what meant something, and it was essential because you needed each other for survival. Nowadays, it's I gotta get mine, fuck you getting yours type shit, and it's the people that have the least who's willing to take the most from everybody else. You look in was it Atlanta, the story about the the three dudes that had to get laid down because they want to run up on somebody at 4 in the morning and try to rob them. Like, is that brotherly? Is that family? Is that what family does? And again, it's why you have to ask the question. When you look at the proximity crime and the violent crime from black people to any other demographic, why are we the highest? Again, because it's a lack of caring, a lack of understanding, a lack of a lot of things when it comes to not just your fellow man, but your brother man or your sister. You know what I'm saying? The person that's supposed to be like you. So this is why I say, man, when we use this king and queen shit, bro, it's counterproductive, because all you're doing is you're further pushing the inaccountability, and you're praising for, like you said, undone and unfounded works. Again, who in here would praise their fucking 10-year-old kid for going to the bathroom and wiping his behind afterwards? Okay, who would praise the grown man for getting up and going to a job and working like he should? No. But in the black community, that's what because the woman runs things, and the woman likes to take the nice approach, or the I don't want to hurt feelings or whatever it may be, or to even cover up her own shit to benefit from whatever the fuckery may be. That's how we're taught. When a man understands and preaches fucking logic and accountability, because he knows at the end of the day, excuses don't matter. People want results. But we got to get out of this thing, man. And like I said, eventually it's going to come to the point of where it's not going to be a choice. But what these people will come to find, man, is, like I said, another big thing too, man. Show me the educated lame in the vernacular of the white man, of the Arab man, of the Indian man, of the Asian man. You won't find it. You won't find it to whereas if you're successful or if you're intelligent, you're somehow the lowest of the low, or you're somehow a joke. Again, man, it's just major issues and flaws we have in our community that are going to have to be changed. And unfortunately, like I said, it's going to happen. And when it does happen, those people that are on the bottom that somehow we have the bottom running the top. Once these tables flip, man, it's gonna be a whole lot of fucking some begging going on, bro. There'll be a whole lot of please, you know what I'm saying? Let him dip his finger in the fucking water so I can and put it on the tip of my tongue type shit. Because if you done told me my whole life, man, that I was somehow fuck nigga, pussy nigga, I ain't real, I ain't this, I ain't that, and you've alienated me and told me I'm not even black enough because I don't follow your ideologies, and I'm not willing to get down and throw my life away, nigga. What the fuck I'm gonna look like fucking trying to take care of you and trying to lend out a helping hand once I'm finally on top because fucking society's made it that way and forced it to be. And with this fucking economic fucking shit going on right now, man, that way it's being projected, bro. We might be in witnessing the end of American dominance. And I can promise and tell you this: if and when we are, if the people that have their shit straight, especially the black ones, bro, you're gonna be worth more than your weight in gold. And I advise you to fucking choose who you help wisely. Fuck that brotherhood shit, man. Fuck that sisterhood shit. King, queens, artists. You gonna be the fucking real kings and queens then, because everybody be running to your ass to fucking get some help and fucking survive, man. And that's my piece on that.
So, brother, fantastic. Are you telling me that it's actually blatant disrespect of each other and not the white man who you mean to tell me it's actually us and not the white man who has made this way, the system of supremacy? You mean to tell me the system of supremacy don't have shit to do with this, brother fantastic? Is that what
I,
you're saying?
hey man, by me being my lame ass fuck boy, whatever. Hell no, man. Again, white supremacy. Somebody asked me today, man. They said, when did white supremacy stop? Shit, the day I was born, as far as I'm concerned. I ain't never had a motherfucking white motherfucker supreme to me, ever, never, never ever.
Don't say that out loud. Don't say that out loud, fantastic. They get triggered by that
Shit,
shit.
me, motherfuckers know me. Yeah, yeah,
They
hey,
get
and I
triggered
and
by
I'm,
that.
I'm here. I'm here for all the smoke. You know that. Like
I
I
know,
said,
I
man.
know.
Again, bro, the you blaming and taking the time out to worry about what the fucking white man doing when the white man ain't worried about your ass, he got y'all niggas on cruise control, bro. Every time he hears you say fucking, just like the king and queen itself is a psychological um uh pretty much a psychological fucking trigger for certain things, bro. The same thing it is with fucking white supremacy. If I'm a white person and I hear you saying the term white supremacy, that lets me know that you think I'm over you. That lets me know that you think I control you. I have power over your life, even just off the basis of my skin tone, not me having some actual power and I'm a fucking Fortune 500 CEO, or I'm an extremely wealthy entrepreneur, or I'm a fucking highly influential politician. No, I'm white. I can be a motherfucking country hick ass motherfucker with a raggedy ass F-150 and two teeth in my mouth, and just because I'm white, I'm still better than you. That's what you're saying when you say white supremacy, man. So again, like I said, words mean things, and
Yep.
because people have a lack of understanding for fucking words, and even furthermore, psychology behind things and the way the fucking mind works, man. You just don't know how much fucking damage we're doing to each other, man. A lot of shit is fucking self inflicted. Like I said, man, in due time, bro, it's that day is gonna come. That day is gonna come, and when that day fucking finally comes to get here, bro, I hope these people are able to fucking still try and use these fucking excuses to help get themselves through the shit that's on the horizon.
Plus, I mean, before I pass it off to somebody else, plus, if you are giving white folks all of this power, okay, first of all, you're calling yourself king and queen. Let's start there. But you give white folks so much power over your life. They control how you live. They control how many baby mamas you got, how many baby daddies you got. They control whether or not your ass broke. They control whether or not you're in poverty. They control whether or not you eat, whether or not you have a job. They control all this shit. Now, mind you, you're still a king and queen now. while the white man got his foot on your face. But you have to stop and think to yourself that if the white man and the white power structure can stop you from doing so much shit, Your Highness, doesn't that mean if he's so over you and you're a king, what does that make him? Wouldn't that make him a king too? That would make him damn near God, because he's over you and you're a king and you're a queen, but this white boot is firmly pressed against your face. So wouldn't that mean that the white man is your king
Shout out to
or
White Jesus.
your God even? If you're a king and someone's able to put their boot on your face, doesn't that mean that they are higher than a king? Because no one should be able to put their hands around the neck of a king or queen, right? Right? So if someone's able to put their damn hands around your throat, Your Majesty, what does that make them? What should we be calling them? If we should be calling you Your Majesty, Sire, your Grace, and all this kind of nonsense, what the hell should we be calling the people who you claim got their feet on your face? Somebody help me out here. I'm confused.
Like I said, man, shout out to White Jesus, man. That's the only thing I can think of.
Let's call him the White King. The White King.
Let's ask the question. I believe everybody here is successful in their own right, correct? We all here, Prophet has gathered, all of us, we're all successful people, correct?
I'm doing all right.
Well, I do okay. I mean, I can't complain.
Art, you doing right? You doing well on your side, right?
In my profession.
Okay. Ruby, are you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Okay, I feel like I'm doing all right. We making it.
I don't think there's nobody on here that stands on the cheese line.
Okay.
But hey, if y'all want to drop that, y'all want to drop that $1 million in my pocket, or I'll take it. I mean, y'all big ballers on here.
You goddamn
right. Make me a king then.
You can,
especially Art.
You could put that $1 million in the goddamn super chat right now if you want to. Goddamn it, just
and
go ahead
label
and put
it king.
Put it in the super chat. King X. Here's a super chat. Goddamn it, of $1 million. Goddamn it. Go ahead, brother BMT.
Now I asked that question because in my time in profession and business, I would always watch as people who are making it, doing well for themselves. They never felt like majority of people never felt like they had to splurge or flash. They don't feel like they need to do that because they're like, I'm doing well for myself. I mean, maybe it's just me, but I would watch, some other, fellow associates who are, they're not black, but they're owners and business owners. They don't, and you know what I saw them? You want to know what I saw those motherfuckers going to? Thrift stores to buy clothes, looking for the deals and businesses and, trying to get by. But I would always be amazed how I would watch black people who don't have be trying to buy Jordans that are $200, $300. I would always be amazed that they'd be living in a goddamn trailer that could easily be, you could spit on it and fall down, but the fucking car outside is worth at least about $800 with shit on it. You might as well go live in a goddamn car. And I would always be amazed that they talk about, I want to be a cash money millionaire or some type of shit. Now, y'all can't tell me if I'm wrong. Say BMT, you full of shit. But I will always see black people who are not doing well in life trying to live like kings and queens, but they're living in destitution. They want to walk around with clothes, but then they're in an impoverished neighborhood. They want to floss all kind of vehicles, but then they can't even get their kid in a good school. I mean, let me know if BMT is off on what I'm saying, if I'm off code. But I believe the brothers and sisters here, we do well for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We make it work. We pay our bills. We take care of our family. I don't ever listen. I walk around with sweatpants and a t-shirt most of the time. I can go in any store and buy whatever the hell I want and don't even flinch. I love it when I go into goddamn Best Buy and they overwalk past me because they think, oh, that's a broke nigga. But then I walk up and swipe the card and I just take it right off the shelf. The TV right behind me, that's an 80-inch flat screen TV. The other man was trying to make a deal. I just bought it straight cash. I don't say this shit, but I work hard for what I want. That's the thing about it. I don't call myself no fucking king and queen. I call myself an average Joe. I think the thing about it that when we talk about this shit, and I think there's something wrong with black. Y'all ever seen that YouTube video, How to Sell to the Negro? It's a really good video. They talk about how the Negro will buy far out of their means to validate themselves, to feel like there's something that they're not. Whoa. This is something the white man studied and learned about the Negro. Before the 90s, before the 80s, I think this was around the 60s or 70s, they did a study on us. This is why they don't mind throwing Jordans and Nikes in front of us. Name brand belts and shoes and stuff. I remember everybody was trying to get into a Chrysler, but barely could keep up with the goddamn payments. I'm telling you right now, man, there's a sickness going on with us when it comes to trying to prove. I see niggas trying to go to a white party and trying to buy a plate that's $45, but Dan can fairly put goddamn groceries in the goddamn fridge. Y'all please help me make this make sense, bro. Do y'all feel that black people are trying to live like kings and queens, but they're barely managing to get by, but they're worried about the goddamn, it's the white man's fault, but then the jobs that you could be going after, you said they're too little. Those are slavery jobs. I can't see myself working at that type of job or with my hands. I can't see myself out there working out there at a nursery or any of these other jobs. But then I would see other immigrants come along and do the what? Same job you look down on. Then after that, make it come up. Then after that, you end up having to go to them to buy from them. We're good at buying from people. We're good at doggone being hustled. Hell, niggas are damn trying to figure out how to go into nail shops now. How you a king and queen, but you got to go beg to a nail shop, please don't beat on my women. What kind of king does that? Your queens go back to the goddamn same dude who slaps them around and they go behind the goddamn back shelf of the damn weave store to suck them off to get a goddamn 30% discount. Oh, I can tell those stories. But then, I mean, I'm going to slow down. I'm going to pass it to y'all. But let me know if I'm off code on what I'm saying about this shit. You see, I know a lot of niggas won't talk about this shit.
God damn, motherfuckers giving up that neck.
We can wait to tax season, Mr. Fantastic. Oh, you know that's when the king and queens come out on tax season.
Motherfuckers giving up that neck for that Brazilian yaki, bro. They giving up the neck for the yaki, man. God damn.
Kings and queens,
damn, man.
Bro. Kings and queens, bro.
Let me find out I need to get in the weed business, get in the bundle business, man. God damn, bro.
Queen, bro.
Yeah. But nah, man, like you said, man, poor people they
You're breaking up, brother. Fantastic. You're breaking up. You're breaking up.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Poor people trying to impress other poor people, man. I don't understand how or why. You know, that's our thing. Like you said, it's a part of the psychology of it. As BMT alluded to, man. I can always remember that, man. And like I said, you beat me to it, BMT, but I'll go ahead and take it there, man. Tax season. That's the number one thing, man. Like I said, I had this conversation with many a times here where people claimed to me and they told me, oh, I was like, bro, you know, on average, these females, these single mothers with two kids are getting anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 a year in tax returns. $7,000 to $10,000 a year, and especially when you're talking about the people that are living either in the projects, full government housing, or even a reduced rate for Section 8. Their cost of living is already, they can afford it, and it's very, very low. So you're throwing $10,000 on top of them, just free money every year. And what do they do with it? They go ball out. They go, oh, I earned this. Well, no, actually you didn't. All you actually really did was have a child and you're poor. So the government saying, hey, we're going to throw you some more money because you're poor. So you didn't really earn anything because the people earning shit are the people that fucking paying into it for you to get it back. And the people that end up fucking paying more money than they, paying money versus getting a return back. Those type things. But either way,
It's
the
true.
whole thing about it is we got to get out of this fucking mentality, man, of where you're trying to impress broke niggas. Like you said, man, the best thing I ever fucking learned and realized, man, is like, look, man, bruh, this is for lifestyle. Something's only new one time. Whether it's the fucking new Jordans, whether it's the fucking 30-inch rims, whether it's the motherfucking Chrysler 300 because it looked like the Bentley back in fucking 2005,
Yeah.
whatever it was. It's only new one time, man. So after that, you mean to tell me you're gonna fuck yourself up financially and push yourself back and push yourself into dire straits for the sake of, what I'm saying, appearance to impress some fucking strangers that you don't even know that don't give a fuck about you, for like, empty compliments and so on and so forth. Mind you, in the shoe game, I broke a couple of necks here and there. I still do it to this day. I pull some out of the closet every now and then, and
Mhm.
that's nice. That's part of the culture. But I've learned as I gotten older, like, yeah, man, hey, that was a phase and that was a little thing. But all the money I spent and I wasted on them shoes, bro, that could have been, so I could have been started my business. So I could have been invested that money into stocks and other things. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like you said, you learning better and you doing better in this day and age where all the information is out here for you to take advantage of these things and actually, what I'm saying, put yourself into an advantageous situation. We have a $1.3 trillion spending power, bro. $1.3 trillion, bro. And again, how is it that we aren't fucking capitalizing on this and making businesses, owning our own communities, having more, owning more real estate, creating this generational wealth everybody always talks about and blames on white supremacy that we don't have it. Fuck the 200 years fucking head start they had. How about you start today? Damn it. How about you start today?
Yeah,
How about
one
you start?
1.3 trillion is plenty of money to start a kingdom.
That's
That,
a
that,
damn
that,
1.3 trillion debit card, man. That's an
that's
EBT card, bro.
that's
That shit
that's
ain't no damn. That
Big
shit ain't
old
no damn
one
card anymore.
point.
That's an
That's a
EBT
big
card.
old $1.3 billion worth
I,
of food stamps and shit.
I'm,
Exactly.
I'm, I'm, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. How about we start today? 1.3 trillion on the fucking yearly, man. 1.3 trillion on the yearly. That's more than some countries even ever see. It's more than entire countries. But yeah, it's still like you said, man. What do we have to show for it? And what is our excuse? Any and every other demographic comes here and they fucking make a way out of fucking nothing. These Mexicans, bro, they own your ass. If you didn't know it, man, you better fucking look around you, man. Jose, Pedro, Consuela, you laughing at them because they live in 15 deep in that fucking 2 bedroom apartment. What you don't know is they all stacking they putting money together and they getting ready to buy the slums that Big Mama house, but you ain't paid the fucking tax lien on it. You don't let the fucking taxes lap on it. Now the city done took the fucking property back. Now they done bought your grandma house. Now they live there.
Yep.
You did the
Yeah.
same thing to the auntie house. You didn't let the fucking grass grow. You ain't kept the fucking house up. The house done been fucking condemned. So now what? That's another fucking property. You got a condemned property they selling off. Um, uh, the fucking Mexicans buy it and they go fix the shit up and make it brand new and move another family in there.
Yeah,
Yep.
just
Everything
to
starts. Everything starts in your kingdom, kings and queens. Why is this? How is everybody else getting more out of your kingdoms than you are? The fucking Arab comes here, he sets up his businesses. The Asian comes here, he sets up his businesses. The Indian comes here, they set up their fucking businesses. But you're the only person not seeing no fucking benefits from it, bro. So until you do that shit, man, until these niggas start doing this, man, I ain't worried about none of the shit these niggas talk about, man. These niggas get the fuck up out of here with that fucking king, queen bullshit, and so on and so forth, and just wait and just go on and keep complaining about the white man, bro. Because I got money to make, I got a family to provide for, and I'm gonna motherfucking make sure I'm gonna win and make it in this shit. That's just me.
yeah, just to remind people, remember every now and then we criticize non-black people of them imitating us, the way we dance, we sing, hell, the way we do church, all that kind of stuff. We kind of feel a certain way. But the part that we're kind of forgetting, all these things that we're saying that Asians, Latinos, Arabs, even Africans do as a community, as them finding ways to make it, we did that before they even came here. We did that. And I guarantee you, they saw that before they even tried it because they had to see how it was done. I think we have to start getting a little bit of go back into some history because the thing is, some of the stuff in history kind of lays out the stuff that worked. And I don't think it's too far outdated. The problem is we just want to do things because it's new. You know, there's a lot of things that work. I know some things are outdated, but at the same time, even the way some of these people that are not black that's doing all these things that looks, sensible, whatever, we can still do that, but not like them, but like how I put it this way, it doesn't have to be like those people that are non-black, but it can be to the point to from the source that they got it from. It's just a matter of putting it together and making sure you execute. People are afraid to put their feet in the water to see if it's warm or cold. Just go ahead and do it.
But how is that? With all these kings and queens, you mean to tell me that there's no bold, bold freaking kings and queens out there ready to go ahead and jump off the ledge for the folks? I mean,
I'll break that down, Prophet, real quickly. I'm sorry,
go ahead,
but
go ahead.
the part about the kings and queens, you don't hear too many people talking about how they became kings and queens. We
Mm.
don't talk about the different stages and different things. I don't care if it's in Nigeria, Egypt, Libya. Nobody. I mean, they don't really talk about that. And I guarantee you, sometimes if you really break it down, they probably will think twice before they even try to take that title. So the whole king and queen thing, and even having a community and stuff like that, you got to study and see how it's done instead of just trying to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, I believe that. I mean, isn't that a problem though? Like, I mean, we talk about how, we did a lot of things in the past that worked, right?
Hmm.
Now, we've gotten away from whatever those things are that worked, obviously, because the shit we're doing now doesn't appear to be working for many of
Hmm.
us.
Hmm.
Now don't get us wrong, because I'm a strong proponent of, you know, all of us ain't broke, all of us ain't poor, all of us ain't living in the ghetto, all of us ain't on the cheese line. I mean, that's just a fact. Now people will get up here and tell you, and this what kills me too. Okay,
Hmm.
people get up here and they talk about how we all struggling, how we all eating roaches, how we all, living on struggle mountain and we live in hand to mouth and all this kind of nonsense. But at the same time, they're talking about how we all kings and queens. Wait a minute. If we all kings and queens, how the fuck we all poor? How the fuck we all ain't got no money? How we all ain't got no food? How we all ain't eating? So you can't have it both ways. You can't sit up and tell me that all of us are doing so bad. The white man got his hand around all our throats. But then on the other hand, 10 minutes later, you telling us how we kings, we queens, we emperors, people should be calling us your majesty and all this kind of nonsense. That's stupid. I've yet to see a poor ass king, okay, or a poor queen. So that just doesn't make any sense to me. But we have gotten away from the things that used to work, and I think that that is the problem. I don't think that we should be living in the past. No, of course not. We can't live in the past, but we got to stop and ask ourselves, what were we doing 7 8 decades ago that had us 80% of our 80% of our kids were being born, two marriages. That's a fact. More so than white folks, anybody else. Um, we had a greater grasp of our own communities. We had a greater grasp of our own economy. Um, back, if you go back 7 8 decades, I do believe that crime numbers weren't as bad as they are now. So, what were we doing? What was us kings and queens doing, back then, where we probably back then uh, were more simpatico with royalty than we are now? What were we doing back then to kind of keep it together? What were we doing back then to keep families together? Have a grasp on our freaking economy, own a lot of our own shit. I mean, what were we doing in those days to make that stuff happen? That we have gotten totally away from that now. And we consider ourselves more of royalty now than we did back then, even though back then we had more. We had more money. We had more control over our own, over our own societies. We had more control over our economy, more control over our children, more control over our families. So I would venture to say that the king and queen titles kind of fit more on the people from 80 years ago than they do on our black asses now, because now things are just run amok. Yeah, they've run amok now. So what what could we possibly do nowadays to make it so we can kind of mimic or mirror what they did, say, 80 years ago?
Well, focus on like they did before. What happened before 80 years ago was they were more focused on us and our own actual progress and improvement than the white man. Even when they were in, again, the reality, the real, the fucking the epitome of oppression, the epitome of racism, the epitome of all this shit they claim today. We like you said, this is why I can't. This is why I can't with these niggas. When we were actually with the shit where, like I said, a white man could fucking spit in your face as a grown fucking black man, and all you could do was turn your head and go on about your business. You couldn't step. You had to step down off the fucking sidewalk into the street. This was when we were successful. And this is what I'm saying. Those people then knew it. Even in the worst of the worst, they were able to ignore that and say, "Man, fuck all that. That's something I can't change at the moment," and so on and so forth. What I can do is this: I can fucking marry me a good woman. We can raise a family. We can, the little pennies we're getting paid, we can put them together, and we can put that together as bring our whole community together to create fucking the Black Wall Streets in Oklahoma, Rosewood in Florida, all these other places. And even if and when they fucking destroy it, as they done from time and time again, fuck it, we'll just make another one. Why we gonna keep focusing on, oh well, they tore the last one down, so why should we build another one? No. Then this is the fucking defeated ass attitude you somehow have in the most technologically advanced fucking, you know what I'm saying, time period in the world, in the history of, bruh. You can literally fucking become a millionaire off of fucking a cell phone, off of sitting on your ass behind a computer screen. And you mean to tell me you gonna always harken back to, oh well, you see what they did to fucking Black Wall Street, nigga? Yeah. And then people after that, they still went on and they created more shit and they still were successful in their own rights. So I think I know that's what the fuck we need to do. Not worried about the fucking white folks. They're not even the real white folks.
What I would say,
This Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
what I say, fantastic. Those naysayers, we have to really make it known to them to step aside. They have to step aside because every time you're almost reaching your goal, there's always someone saying, a white man or whatever it is, to keep you from taking that last step. There got to be a task force. And now you guys are military men here. Y'all know what it's like. There has to be some task force to point out the people that's going to really interfere with your mission,
Right.
and say, hey, move them out of the room so we can get down to business. Because I think we're trying to be kind and hard and community. I mean, community wise, but until we I ain't gonna say get rid of them, just move them aside. Because I think they're gonna have some kind of value later. But as far as building and climbing the ladder, we can't really make it if they keep chopping it for whatever reason. They don't even have good reasons why they're doing it. They just do it. So I'm like, just move them and let's just go on and just start, building some type of success.
Right. No. Art, what you say is on point. I mean, if it's fast, me and Mr. Fantastic can tell you when you go to basic, the first thing that they're going to tell you is look to your left, look to your right. You remember that, Fantastic? And then they always say, everybody ain't gonna make it to the finish. They tell you that right off. Ain't no need to get too buddy because you're gonna start seeing people drop out. You're gonna start people not want to get up on time. You're gonna start people not want to do their PT. You're gonna start people not wanting to get out there and do their job. But remember why you came here. And see, the thing about it is, listen, I've had times my daddy would tell me when he would come home that, damn, that white man fucked up my paycheck again or took some hours. But you know what? He got his ass up. Still went to work. My mom worked at the post office and became the postmaster. And see, at a time, you gotta understand. I want a lot of y'all to understand. You don't got time to bitch. If you the king and queen and you built your kingdom, then shut your ass up. Why are you bitching about the next kingdom over to the left or right of you? Worry about your own shit. We don't. You make it seem like people give a flying fuck about your problems. Nobody gives a shit, but everybody got their own struggle. And you see, that's the problem. Why we're so pandering? Because I don't get me wrong. You can keep telling me about my past, but damn it, you sure ain't gonna prove where we're going with the future. You ain't got shit to tell me about that. You had to tell me about a history lesson, but nigga, I get that. I'm right here. I'm right now. Don't tell me about the good old days when you was a star quarterback and everybody was sucking you off in the back room. No, nigga, I don't give a shit about that stuff. Man, see, everybody want to relive when they were the prom king and prom queen. Everybody want to relive the good old times. Fuck that. Now we've already went past the black plague of crack and cocaine and baby mamas and heroin and all the other shit. We already done gone past our black plague. Now we here. We're left. We survived the apocalypse. It's done. So now I gotta just move on. I don't have time for pity. We talk about that. We want that 40 acres mule. Well, nigga, guess what? Go buy your own 40 acres. Go get yourself a goddamn John Deere tractor and plow your fucking fields. I'm not about the shit because everybody want to talk about it, but see, everybody don't want to go out there and just do it. It's not like the government's stopping you and you can miss them with the bullshit, because there are free classes out there. You can go to Voc Rehab. I literally watched a dude who was a town pissy drunk flip around. Now he got a goddamn a Billard goddamn club that you can go buy wild wings and goddamn beer and fish. He said nobody felt bad for me. My daughters and sons stopped calling me. I'm tired of us always trying to pick up societal goddamn losers and goddamn the pissy drunks and queens and kings of the goddamn community. Fuck that. Leave that shit alone, man, and move on. Let them keep their rat-infested kingdom. And y'all can take it however you want to. I don't give a fuck if black people like me or not. But understand this, you got no power. You don't. Everybody down to your kids know that. But then you feel some type of way when the black people who do and can make the moves, you shun them because they don't want to be part of your kingdom. Why? Because they understand that you're talking about shit that's gone. When we're right here and we can make shit work. I get it. When Fantastic said that, listen, man, everybody's taking their L's in life. Everybody. You're just still holding on to when you had a win. After you win that one championship, or when you had a good times in the 70s and the 60s, guess what? That was your good time. That shit passed. Now we in the 2000s. Don't tell me about what back then when women did this. Well, guess what? We understand our women ain't doing that shit now. They done joined the winning team. They done joined their white zaddy. So now they trying to get the ring too. Black men, you understand that, yo, I can't hold on to this era anymore because I don't have no power like I think I do. I gotta understand that, guess what? At any time, somebody can snatch up my shit. So I gotta protect what I got. Y'all can miss me with this shit and keep trying to say, well, oh, BMT is more than that. There's more than... No, nigga, I get it. I see the world for what it is. Why don't you? And those who woke up and say, yo, we're not about the fantasy life bullshit. You understand one thing about having a kingdom, anybody and everybody wants the throne. What are you willing to do to keep it? Well, just think about being a man.
You know, brother BMT, if we don't we don't think that way. We're considered coons and samplers
Oh,
and shit
man.
like that.
Well, I've been
Let me
called wrong.
let me let me
Lately.
ask Lady Ruby. Lady Ruby.
Yes,
Now
sir.
Love you, Ruby.
Love you
let's
too.
let's say it was 7 8 decades ago. We were segregated. Somebody has said in the chat that desegregation was one of the worst things to happen to black folks. I happen to agree. Now, if it was 2019, okay, it's 2019, and if we were still living under the cusp of segregation, even with the internet and YouTube and Instagram and Twitter and all this kind of nonsense. Say we were still living under the same quote unquote kingdom of the system of supremacy. Do you think that we would be, as a black society, do you think we would be the way we are now? And I ask you because you're a female, okay? And we often say that black women sit on the top when it comes to black society. And from the stuff I see, it always appears to be true. It's hard to refute it with what I see and what I hear and what I see on media. But as a woman, do you think it would be that way if we were still segregated?
I think things would be different. And the reason why, I mean, is because a lot of the dysfunction you see in the community is about chasing white North American standards and ideals and their culture, which doesn't work well for us or for ours. We weren't programmed to be a bunch of individualists who will step on each other to get ahead. That's not how we thrive. We were built for communities, which is something that we had, that kind of collective conscience where it's not just about you, it's about everybody, where you don't just care about your own kids, you care about everybody's, where, you don't just care about what your dress looks like, whatever designer made it. You care about, how clean your home is and how clean the streets are outside of your home in your neighborhood. So there was a completely different ideal. Whereas when you think about the North American white ideal, it's this idea of, well, I got to be the best. I'm gonna me, 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 me. I don't care about everything else, and anything else I want taken care of, someone should have to do it for me. There's a laziness there. There's a lack of motivation there, whereby they expect to be handed things and they expect someone else to be responsible for things. So when you desegregate, then basically instead of just trying to live up to the standards and expectations in your own community, you start trying to live up to the standards and expectations of the greater community because they are the majority. So if they're the majority, they must be right. And if no one had adopted that thought process that, well, since they're the majority, they must be right, or hey, the way that they're living or the way they're thinking is the right way to go, then desegregation wouldn't have been, I think, as much of a problem.
Well, let me ask you this, Lady Ruby. They often, we've been talking all night about how, they call, you ladies queens, and I say again, I just think it's a pussy grab, but that's just me. Um, oh shit, we've been joined by Info Man, my brother. What's good, brother Info Man?
What's up, King?
Oh
What's up,
God.
man?
Why? Every time.
What's up, Prophet of Thought?
What's going on, brother Info?
Not much, man. I see you guys are talking about a few subject matters, and my challenge to everybody on YouTube, man, is we do a lot of talking, panels, and what have you. I've been on them, but I think people need to show their worth in terms of we need to have less talking, and we need to get into more solutions, and we need to be doing the work. And your first responsibility is to your family, your children. You prepare your kids to have an attitude that they cannot be defeated by anything, whether it be white supremacy, whether it be what we had in the past, doesn't mean we can't have it again. One of the reasons why Black people are in a state of mind like that is because as much as people don't want to deal with this, America is the variable of our problems because we don't have a good identity of who we are, which is why we tend to get into religion. We put ourselves in little groups, whether it be religion or whatever we want to identify with, because we are steadily trying to find ourselves. And if you don't know who you are, you don't have a language or some sort of something that brings you together and unifies you, then you're going to be scattered like ants. You know, when you look at an ant farm, the ants are working together in unison, they're on code. Once you shatter that ant farm, they're all over the place, scattered. And Black people have been so often scattered in North America. And I think whenever we take a loss, whether it be what happened in Rosewood or Black Wall Street, we hang on to the pain because we have been culturally conditioned to focus on our pain and not our possibilities on hope. So I think we need to transition ourselves from focusing only on our pain, because we could create a promising tomorrow through our children and through our youth. I don't know if it means that all of us that are older are going to live to see that day, but you plant the seeds today to create a different tomorrow. And that comes through knowledge of self, knowing who you are, self-respect, and confidence. No matter if someone was to call you an N-word, that would not stop you in your approach to be successful. Now, I hear a lot of guys on YouTube talking about what Black people are and that we whine and all that. Look, I don't hang around Black men or Black women who talk like this. I've had the privilege in my 49 years to be around some of the most successful Black men in California that I have engaged with personally. So not every Black person is walking around saying "Mo is me." I think we take the minimum of our community that are destructive and dysfunctional, and on YouTube we too often make them the maximum when they're actually the minimum of what a lot of Black men and women are doing out here. So we use the lower hanging fruit in our community as this is what's wrong with us overall. And I think that's not fair. Of course, life isn't fair, but I don't think it's a good assessment because there's so many different types of Black communities across the country, and none of us have been in every single Black community. We tend to gravitate towards the lower economics, the poor Black communities where people are behaving in ways that we don't approve of, and then we use that as the example. Why don't we use examples of successful Black people on YouTube? How many of you, when Brother BMT and I were talking about one of the only Black schools, male schools that was getting shut down, and we called for people to come and support the stream, we didn't get a lot of people that supported it. People rather support the ratchet, support which is negative. Now, my journey right now on my channel is to focus on solutions. I'm sick and tired, and I'm through with the babble of what our problems are. We know what our damn problems are. Why don't some people get up off their asses and come up with either solutions, show what you're doing that's a solution, or encourage people or give people information how we can establish a new Black society away from the one that we deem as inappropriate. Now, when are people going to do that? Because if nobody is prepared to do that and is doing that, as I have, then you're just talking. And I'm sick of hearing people just talking.
Well, Brother Info, of course, I agree with you, brother. You my man. But here's the thing. As long as this vehicle here exists, there's always going to be people who come with problems, just like there's always going to be people who come with solutions. But what I think what the main challenges is going to be, the main challenges going forward, especially when you talk about media, the main challenge is going to be getting the people who talk solutions, getting them with the people who have the problems and are willing to hear the solutions. See, one thing I've noticed on media is that there's a disconnect, okay? People who have something to say, I mean something real to say, not the rank and file nonsense that we talk about here most of the time, something real to say, they have a tendency not to be able to get the audience, okay? And everybody on here is a content creator. They know what I'm talking about. They don't get the audience when they actually come up and actually talk about, what's going on, what we could do, what the possibilities are. Those audiences are relatively small when you talk about those things. Now, if you get a bunch of people on a panel and they arguing and they fighting and they cursing each other out and calling each other all kind of names, your numbers hit the roof. Your analytics go crazy. Why? Because this is the so-called kingly and queenly behavior. These are our so-called kings and queens, the people who want to deal with the ratchet, the ill-advised, the nonsense, all right? These are the people who they gravitate towards this stuff, but these are the people who demand that you treat them as queen, as king, as monarch, as your highness, sire, your majesty. See, that's where the disconnect is. You got all these people who want to be treated and respected as royalty, but these same people who want to be considered royalty are doing the most unroyal shit, engaging in the most unroyal shit, being entertained by the most unroyal shit. So you can't be this royalty. You can't be this person who says, I'm above all others, I'm above reproach, but you are engaging in the same type of activity that you claim to be above. See, that kind of stuff is crazy to me. And that's what kind of messes up. That's what messes up things on these media platforms. Because I know I watch your stuff. I'm subscribed to your channel. I know what kind of stuff you do down there. I know what kind of stuff you do down there on the information channel. But guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Your numbers zoom up when you have Negroes on there acting up. That's just a fact. That's with anybody's channel. It's not just you. It's not just me. It's not just other brothers. It's almost as if we, with our majestic selves,
Mm-hmm.
we are so drawn to the niggatry. We are so drawn to the beef. We are so drawn to the bickering back and forth. And this is what we are drawn to.
Let me ask you a
So
question.
I have a hard time figuring out how we can demand to be called kings and queens when we are drawn to such, I don't know,
Well, I'll be honest
low
with you.
vibration entertainment.
I'll be honest with you. This won't be popular, but I don't think that until Black people truly have themselves together as it relates to YouTube and Black folks in communities where they're engaging in ratchet behavior, then nobody deserves to be called a king and queen. And matter of fact, I think we use those words too much. Every woman is not a queen, in my estimate, and every guy is not, and every brother is not a king. Your actions and deeds reflect whether you are a king or a queen. And I think we're too quick to label people that because we want to have some sort of solidarity. Now, this is another thing that we better wake up to. If you take it back to Africa, most of us who believe that we came over here through slavery, I know there's people that think that we were Aborigine, we were here already. Okay, we're from all over the planet. The truth of the matter is our ancestors that were brought here, they were not the kings, and they were certainly not the queens of Africa, of the continent of Africa.
Oh my God, say that one more time.
I'm going to say that again.
Tempo.
Most of us that are in this country who ancestors came from the continent of Africa, we were the peasants. We were not the kings and queens. We were sold off by the kings and queens for and because you had inter-tribal warfare. So kings and queens were not sold off. We, more than likely, our ancestors would be considered the peasants or the everyday working class people in those societies that were sold off, or warriors that fought in wars that were sold off in intertribal wars. That is one component of the history. So I think Black people use the king and the queen term because we want to feel good about ourselves. We want to identify with something positive, but at the same time, we don't behave to the standard of what we're trying to deem ourselves to be. When the reality is we actually come from a more humble background than we come from kings and queens, meaning us being kings and queens. Now, it's going to be hard for people to wrap their head around what I said because we're so used to saying you're a king, I'm a queen, but that's the reality. That is a part of our lineage. And that's our problem. We want to be in fantasy. And I'm going to be honest with you, brother prophet of thought. I respect Egyptology, the pyramids. I respect that, but Black folks in America, I'm sorry, we don't come from that part of Africa.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
not where they got us from.
Say that again. Say that again, brother.
We don't come from that part of Africa. As much as we celebrate Egypt or Kemet, which was the original name, Kemet, that's not where most of us in this country, they didn't go that far into the continent to get slaves. So when we're talking about Egypt, that's not even most of our tribe. That's not our tribe that we come from, Black people. But I know we like to say that because of pyramids. It's mysterious and shit like that.
Yeah, it's royal. It has a mystique to it, you know.
Yeah.
It has a mystique to it. I think that's what it is with this this king and queen thing, man. I think it's not so much that, because most of us know that. I mean, come on. There's no way all of us came up here, came over here as kings and queens.
Hell
That's
no.
stupid. It doesn't even make any goddamn sense.
Hell no.
I think it's just the mystique of the whole thing. That it has this certain kind of nuance to it. If you say, what's going on, queen, what's going on, king, that whole thing. And I don't even think it's so much of the Black power thing. I think it's just being able, it's the mystique of being able to call someone something that you yourself, I said this earlier, that you yourself think you are. You don't necessarily think they're that, but you think you're that. Okay? You think you're that. So, of course, you would call them whatever, because, see, now that you've called them that, they don't really have a choice but to call you that, right? If someone walks up on you, hey, what's good, king? You almost feel obligated to call them king too. So it's sort of like, like I said earlier at the top of the stream, man, it's freaking mental masturbation, man. You're mentally masturbating other people while you mentally masturbate yourself. That's what I believe.
I know Brother BMT wants to step in here, but let me just say this. This is one of our problems. And people won't, this is not popular to say these things, Brother Prophet, but Black people, we have deep-rooted pain. We have not dealt with our mental health, our depression that we have, especially men. Black men are very depressed. I'm going to keep it real with you. And we have a lot of psychological issues. It's not a popular thing to say, which is why we will lend ourselves to this king and queen stuff, because we're trying to medicate ourselves with words and slogans. And even in some way, the ADL movement for reparations, in terms of the slogan that we want to be under that umbrella of we are descendants of slaves. In some ways, that's another example of trying to medicate ourselves with slogans to a certain degree. Even though I do believe we do deserve reparations, whether we're going to get them, that's another issue. But Black people, we have been overdosing ourselves like heroin with slogans, fancy words. That's why you have a lot of brothers who will say, I'm a Moor, I'm Aborigine, I'm this, I'm that, because we need something to feel good about ourselves. We need to gravitate to something, which is why you will find a lot of brothers in the pro-Black movement will gravitate towards Egypt. And when you notice, they say when you look at the statues and the artifacts, you say that's a black person. See, look at it. Look at the nose. Yes, they were black people, but I'm going to be honest with you. Like I said, that ain't really black people's tribe in America. Not to say that Egypt is not an important part of the history of the continent of Africa, made of 55 countries, but that ain't really black folks in America. That ain't really technically our lineage. And you never hear anybody celebrating our real true lineage.
But we got, but check this out though, real quickly. I mean, thus in religion have it worse. We have it way worse in religion. We take on, it's in our DNA damn near, to, the white Jesus, black Jesus, the cross, all that kind of stuff. You take on that persona more than anything as far as Africa.
Yeah, but
Art, got that real bad.
I know BMT is a religious man, but I'm gonna say this: it's another blasphemy statement.
It's all good. It's all good.
I believe that one of the worst things that happened along with slavery in this country to black people, the next worst thing that happened to us was religion. I'm sorry, folks.
No,
religion
that's
was
fine.
the
I
next
agree.
worst thing that could have happened to us. That Bible was one of the worst things that happened to it because it indoctrinated us that God was a white man through means of the Jesus caricature. That is one of the worst things I think has happened to black folks because of what it has done to our minds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I don't believe in God. Okay, don't get me wrong.
No. You're good. You're good, fam.
We romanticize. I mean, when we talk about this Egypt and all this kind of stuff, I mean, we will go along with anything that's been romanticized and pushed down our throats by white folks. Come on, let's be clear. Okay, white folks romanticize Egypt forever and ever, so automatically we gravitate to it. If white folks was to romanticize Australia, you would have somebody walking around talking about that's where we originated from. If white folks romanticize China, guess what? You'd have some black person walking around talking about that's where we came from. It's like we will romanticize anything that white folks say. Because, most of us, we love white folks, we idolize white folks, and we're scared of them at the same time. So all it takes for us to gravitate towards something is for white folks to build it up and romanticize it. Because we go along and do the same shit. We do the same shit. If white folks romanticized freaking Canada, we'd be telling you that's where black folks originated from. I mean, all we got to hear is white folks build something up and we will freaking gravitate to the shit. Because
Can I add something?
Go ahead, Lady Ruby.
I just wanted to say that,
you're not gonna say the black woman originated in Canada, are you?
Of course. From my lineage, right? This is why I'm a queen. Anyway, no. But I did want to say that I agree with you, but we have to look at why does this work so well? And it's ultimately because, we, through evolution, there's a bunch of things about us as humans that, you can tap into and you can manipulate. And so the need, for example, to believe in a higher power, whether it's nature or God or several gods or whatever it exists in every culture. Even in lost cultures, when they end up going and finding them, they have their own religions. So, using religion and organized religion has always been something that the leaders, the 1%ers basically have used to control the masses. That's what religion is. It's a tool that you use to control the masses, to modify their behavior, and to basically keep them being okay with you getting 99% of the wealth while they live in relative poverty for the most part. Because, you have religions that still exist to this day that tell you that if you don't just enjoy being starving and a beggar, if that's how you were born, then you're building up bad karma. And in your next life, you might be born a cockroach at that point because you're just going to go down lower. You've earned your karma. That's why you are a beggar in this life. And so basically all that, white people did is they took this religion, they've been using this religion for the longest time in their history, to mitigate everyone's behavior and anytime anyone's really truly unhappy with things, they use something from the Bible. I mean, up until the point where people learned how to read, there was exactly one religion. And then even when the religions broke off because they could read the Bible on their own, and they said, hey, we're being used and we're being manipulated using these texts, they're lying to us, then they just went and created sects of Christianity. And then the leaders inside of those churches just used it to control everybody and to get their money and to get, their loyalty and their devotion. So that's all they've really done. But the reason why they're able to do it is because it's instinctual for us. To find group belonging. This is why we fall into whatever the hell group. If we don't feel already a group belonging, for example, an incredibly strong pull of group belonging with a family that we have, our parents, several siblings, maybe your extended family, then, you fall into other types of group belonging. This is something that happens a lot with gangs. Most of the kids who join gangs don't have that group belonging. They don't have something to be a part of and to serve and to raise up in the ranks in the hierarchy and so on and so forth. Religion is just doing the same thing. So I think that, when Information Man talks about solutions, well, I think sometimes part of finding a solution is really truly identifying not just what the problem is, but how or why does it exist and what could we do? Offering other solutions as far as group membership that aren't going to take advantage of the people, aren't going to be taking their money away from them. So that way the pastor can buy a third jet for this year because, he doesn't want to fly the black jet to Jamaica when, he just it's ridiculous, right? So if we created groups, if we had well, and I guess that's the thing. It's like religion is your sense of morality. It's your sense of right and wrong. And it's setting a tone and a standard for the group that you've chosen to be in that everyone has to follow. So if I'm going to use this set of rules for morality, it's okay because everyone else is going to do it. It's basically, the zero sum game, but it's about fairness and equality. So I think that if we recognize those things, it'll kind of help us come up with solutions that will mitigate some of these problems or mitigate some of the influence that these manipulative systems have.
Anybody else?
First of all, shout out to Infoman. What's going on, bro?
So good, thank you.
I
And to Ruby too.
I don't disagree with anything. See, when I went to Egypt, I didn't see kings and queens, but I did see black people being auctioned off as slaves. That was in 2017. Black people were being auctioned off as slaves. Slavery's still alive there. So when I used to hear black people say, "Oh, we're kings and queens and we're from Egypt," I'm like, do you know what you are actually still doing in Egypt right now? Because I don't think you know what part of the social ladder you're at right now. You cost the amount of this bottle of whiskey. That's how much you cost.
That's fucked up.
That's how much you cost. You cost about the same amount for an iPod Nano. That's a good marketed slave. I know, but I freed over 4,500 of them out of a doggone trailer. I hope y'all know how hot trailers get when the sun starts to bake them. So that's why I said you don't want to say you're kings and queens, especially from that area. You see, the thing about it that you got to understand for African Americans or just Black Americans, because Jesse Jackson told you you're African Americans. You see, we're the bastard children of this country. And we already know that one thing about a child is a child always wants to have something to belong to. They do. They want a sense of belonging, a sense of I have a purpose. That is why time and time again, if you look back in the past, the Negro American has always been creating, building, engineering to show that I'm more than just a piece of flesh that works tirelessly like a dog, but I can actually create and build to make my life easier. So you don't have to grab the lash of the whip and hit me. I don't think people understand that George Washington Carver, among all the greatest marvels that he did, you know what the white people did to him? They castrated him. So that way he couldn't have children. You gotta understand that black people have been trying to prove and validate themselves with titles for a long time. This is why I do not say I'm pro-black. This is why I do not say I'm B1. This is why I do not say I'm any of that shit. Black people, when you start claiming on the titles, understand this. The first title you were given in this country was nigger. See, you want a title to exist. You don't need that. Every man and woman on this panel, we don't need titles. We just go out there and do it. We just do what we need to do as people. We want to show that we have solidarity, but understand this, if you didn't show any type of workmanship, you were to vanquish. You would have vanished off. And you see, right now, yes, I get it that we wanted equal pay, we wanted equal benefits, we wanted health care, we wanted things because we were busting our ass and we were saying that stuff. We understood that we didn't have a choice or have a reason to bitch or complain. And we saw those people as weak. See, everybody wants to be the captain of the ship, but they don't understand what the captain has to do to become the captain. How many floors does he have to sweep and swab? How much rope does he have to tie? What does he or she have to go through to get to that level? But we don't want that crown. And you see, this is where we're at right now. We're giving everybody these titles, but as Ruby said back then, you didn't earn it. You didn't get there yet. You haven't done anything yet. You're still in goddamn third grade, but you already talking about a doctor's degree. What the fuck? Work your way up there first. Prove yourself the valor and the medal. And this is the problem that we keep on getting into these little scrimmages and fights. This is why you see the lower tier using these talking points. I've never seen a doctor get up in front of a bunch of their colleagues and said, all of you are king and queens. Let me know. Show me that. A doctor getting up there. Or a lawyer of a firm. Show me when Barack Obama got up in front of the nation and said, all you black people are kings and queens. Tell me that. He was at the top of the world. Now, one time did he ever call y'all kings and queens? Isn't that crazy? At one time. Because he understood that that's just a feel-good speech. It's self-medication. That's why I agree, information man. We're trying to run away from a psychological problem that has not probably gotten fixed. The black individual is sick. And you see, this is why a lot of black people are starting to go off with individualism. Because they understand that I got enough issues for myself. I barely survived getting out of goddamn mama's house or granny's house or out of the goddamn projects. And you want me to pick you up? The fuck? Hold up, bro. You need to get out just like me. I'm out here busting my ass. Why ain't you? Now, I can tell you, if you fill out this application, you could probably get the fuck out too. But see, you ain't going to do that. So why do I need to give you that respect? You didn't respect my struggle of me building up my goddamn tribe. You didn't respect my alliances and my deals I had to shake. So why now do I need to call you brethren, kings and queens? You don't get that. You don't get that. I'd rather be a fucking warlord and war with any and everybody who gets in my fucking way and take what I need to take. And you see, those type of people, we get looked at crazy because we understand that, see, the God doesn't have pity for the weak, but he cherishes the strong. That's the God that you serve. You were given a God that takes. The good Lord taketh. Well, he does a lot of taking. He's a jealous God. That's why they tell you you are gods. Well, what type of God are you? I mean, I'm being for real, man. I ain't trying to sugarcoat y'all. I ain't trying to make y'all feel good. I try to beat you up. I really try to mentally break y'all down. Because you got to know how to pick yourself up. I watch white people They know that if they say the N-word and you easily buckle to that, they got you. You weak and have no resolve. We've all been there. We've seen it. I had a white dude say the N-word in front of black men. Now, some of the black boys got mad. I said, you knew the minute you hit him, you know you will lose everything, right? He purposely said that. Yeah, but he ain't gonna say that and disrespect me. But are you a nigga? You see, you gotta understand that why don't you go for power? Why don't you get yourself to an elevated level? If you have power, you're trying to get white people to approve you when black people don't even approve of you.
Why is
Look
that? Why is that?
Ooh, Prophet,
Why?
that would be a whole nother Exodus right
I
there.
know.
You
I
know,
know.
you try to,
Why?
no.
Why is it that all these kings and queens buckle against the almighty white God? Yeah, we're all kings and queens, but the white man is God. Is he not? To
Yeah,
you
but
Negroes? Is he not?
Yeah.
Ain't no black gods, I can tell you that.
but as I mentioned before, I know grown man business says it's not a psychological issue. It's a rebellion against accountability. Of course, we have to be accountable, but you cannot deny. See, I work in psychology, and you cannot deny how powerful your mind is and how it impacts your body. Mind and body have to be one in unison. And whatever we are affected mentally, it affects our body. Our psyche is really fragile. And black people have not gotten over a lot of shit that we haven't dealt with, honestly. And when you are being indoctrinated with religion that tells you that Jesus, a white man, is your God. I mean, you can go over to the continent of Africa and they have places over there where they have giant statues of a white Jesus. Okay. You go to Brazil. What do they have in Brazil? They have a statue of a white Jesus, and that's a very black country.
Yeah, Mount Cornucova. I know.
So these things are conditioning us from the time that we are a child. We see it in our grandmother's house with the white Jesus, and we begin to look at white people as gods because we've been taught through the Bible. Matter of fact, I ask you all a simple question. When you do Bible study, most of the illustrations when you do Bible study are illustrations of who? White people. They depict Moses as white, Jesus is white, all the prophets are depicted as white. Everything in those illustrations are white people.
Facts. They are. I will not deny that.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Okay. We hear people talk this king and queen stuff all the time. So, I mean, for instance, say you live somewhere, right? And that village has a king, right? And this king rules over everybody. What the king says goes, okay? What the king says is law, all right? This is a castle. He is the king. His word is law. So you respect that because you respect him as said king, right? Now, how much respect could you have for that king if you see another man come in, slap that king's face, take that king's money, lock that king up, beat that king up, take his car, take his queen?
Oh shit.
Now, after you've seen all of that, how much respect for that king would you continue to have? And would you want to be ruled by said king after seeing all of that?
Not my mama.
This will bring what Information Man said and what you said, Prophet, together, and I will appeal to BMT because he knows this story well. When they took Jesus on the way to getting crucified, they took off his white garment and put a purple garment on there and threw a crown of thorns on his head. And what did they say to him in mockery?
Here's your king.
There you go.
Hail,
King of the Jews.
Hail, the king of the Jews. And they made him walk up with his thorn. They beat him and all kind of stuff in front of the Jews. Oh, the Jews hated that. The Romans did that purposely.
Yeah.
So
So,
damn,
go ahead.
You hit the juggler, Art. That was pretty good. You hit the. Wait till we get to your show. I will get you back.
So I had to get everybody, and I couldn't bring. I don't know how to put Ruby in this, but I'm gonna get you though. But
All right.
but what I'm trying to get at is that, you know, it's still a terminology thing, whether you're being mocked or whether you're trying to hold it as a badge of honor. You know, it's just a matter of terms that you choose. But again, that I've been saying earlier, what works and what doesn't. Because some people, I think Brother Prophet mentioned that certain people that he would hail as a queen, like a Sister Shahrazar Ali, or I would even say Dr. Franciscus Wasner, Queen Tanyetta. We call it Queen Mother Tanyetta. You know, I mean, it's good to have these discussions because, again, if you put things where they properly belong and kind of show and point out things that how it works, I think we get a lot further. The problem is we don't really address these things,
No,
in my
we don't.
opinion.
We don't talk about these things because see, I think many of us are under an illusion of shit, man. It's if we say it, it's real. Okay, if we say it, it's real. It doesn't have to be proven. It does, none of that. If I just say it, if I say you're a queen, god damn it, you're a queen. If I say that I'm a king, god damn it, I'm a king. All I got to do is say it. Okay, nothing has to be proven. The title doesn't have to be earned. Okay, the title that you give this other person doesn't have to be earned. They just need to be called it. That's it. The name just need to be written on their jersey, and they are automatically it, even though they haven't exhibited anything remotely close to the title that you've given them. That's why I say it's a lot of BS and a lot of smoke and mirrors, and I think it's people not really saying what they think. They're not really saying what they think, man. They're saying what they want you to believe they think. There's a difference, okay? Because see, we have that shit with us too. Go ahead, Cap. What's good, Cap?
How y'all doing, family?
Can you hear me? I'm good.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
good.
Yes,
What's
Hey,
going on
Cap.
with you, Cap?
sister, brother. Yeah, I agree with what y'all saying. I what when I certain channels I go on to, they always say, "How you doing, King?" and this and that. And I tell them, "Don't call me King, because I'm not gonna call you a king or a queen. I'm not that. That is a title to be earned." And as I look back, when I hear that, I reflect back into my lifestyle. You know, when I was raised by a single mother. I was raised by single women. And then I joined the hardest branch, and they forced me into leadership role that I thought I was not ready for, and of confidence. And after I got out, the society decreased. You know, it messed up that confidence. But when I see, let me backtrack it just a little bit. When I got out and I started seeing how coming to the light into the truth about our people. I use it when I say king, queen, especially those who are on the streets struggling. I said, don't you? They may not know our history, they may not know it, but I give them the advantage to know you are a king, you are a queen. Build yourself up. It may any little thing will help. If they want to take it, that's on them. That's on them. If they want to be a fucking slime on the goddamn streets, that's on them. But I come across, I say that, but not like loosely. But you know, I'm very selective when I use it. And when I hear women call me a king, I say I don't want to hear that. I'm not a king. It's like you got to earn that right to be called a king or a queen. You have to earn it. Just like same thing in the military. You can't be a private and call yourself a fucking general all of a sudden. There are ranks you gotta go through, you know. But the reason I use it is just to uplift them. If they don't want to accept that, okay, fine, fine, fine. But I when I use it, it's just to give them some, because we're struggling here in this country where we're trying to just walk outside your house, go do your job, take care of your kids, your family, whatever it is, or somebody that's out of the prison that's trying to do right. Just by calling them that, even though you know they're not that, you know they are not qualified yet to be called that, but just give them a little hope to improve themselves. They may walk, they don't know. And when I heard people call me that back in the days, I felt it in the Marine Corps. I felt it here, but I didn't believe it. And then it just takes you a time to sit back to self analyze, to self check yourself and see why other people consider me so. Why do they praise me so high? So it's just that's how I see it, man. Y'all might not see it, but I agree with what y'all say. But there's a part of me that says, man, just if you go on the streets, you see somebody sitting homeless, hey queen, hey, here's about $5, here's $10, $20 for you. Help you out. But you are a queen. But it's up to you if you want to correct yourself and be like a queen. It's like it's telling them to work their way up, even though they're not there to that status. But just work it up. Change your life. So, brother, I appreciate the time you allow me on here to say what I gotta say. And
Absolutely, you already know, Cap. Anytime,
yeah,
brother.
Cap.
You already know. You already
What's up,
know.
yeah.
King? I forgot to say what's up, King.
If it wasn't for
No.
me, I mean, if it wasn't for other folks, if it wasn't for other folks that told me about to let you know that you have this, you have this strength of people will follow you. Because my mother, I was raised around women. It's no disrespect to no woman. Trust me, please. There's no, but when it came around to okay, it's wartime, and I felt like I didn't want it, but they forced me into it. When they force you into it, it's like a mind situation where you got to learn. You got to learn the game how to bring your man back home alive. And when I come back, I try to use that same situation here in the street, what they call free America. But there are people that don't want to fucking learn. I can call them queens. It don't fucking matter. You gotta be very selective now. And that's what hurts. They don't wake up to all the things they will wake up to, what kind of fancy car, what kind of fancy clothes, what kind of fancy house you live in. That's all they wake up to. When it comes to this survival, they don't care until it's too fucking late. I tried to show them how to use a fucking weapon, how to use hand-to-hand combat, this and that, how to use discipline. They don't want to hear it. It takes somebody like a celebrity, a black celebrity, like a football player, somebody in Hollywood, a basketball player. That's all it takes for them. I said, no, I mean, you're better than that. You are very better than that. You just don't know it. I didn't know it. But I'm trying to show you. But if you want to go along with the entertainment and the sports world, that's on you. But don't blame me when you find yourself behind doing this for a joint. So I'm done, family. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take that long. I just want to say that it's just my frustration what I'm seeing.
It's all good, man. I don't censor my guests. You know that, Cap. You can say whatever the hell you want up on the TPOT YouTube page. You know, you say whatever the hell you want. But go ahead, brother Art.
Brother
That was
Prophet, before Art start, I'm gonna get ready to get off the panel.
Yeah, I'm about to wrap up because you know it's way past my bedtime because my
Yeah.
ass old.
I got an
So
early day.
so
And
everybody
so
take your part in shots before we go. You might as well go ahead and take your part
yeah,
in shots now, brother Info, while y'all
yeah,
on your way
yeah.
out the door.
Yeah, I'll make it short. Thank you for sending me the link to come on the platform. It's always great to speak on your channel, brother, because you always keep the discussion very real. Peace to brother Cat PY2. Love you, brother. You know, me and you, Cat, we go back a while, so I know a lot of the pain things you've gone through from your expressing in conversations that we've had on panels and things of that nature, brother. You're a real brother, and our people, we do have to get out of fantasy and get into reality. It's great to study about Egypt and all these various fantastic things, but we have to deal in reality. Art, brother, thank you as well. To Classic Ruby, thank you as well, because you were on my show a week ago. It was great being here again. Everybody in the chat room, peace to you as well. And let me give a shout out to Grown Man's Business. Peace to you, brother. I got to get you on my channel too, brother.
Yeah, man. I gotta get him up on here
Yeah,
next
got to get
week,
him on
man.
here.
The brother
So,
be dropping some jewels, man.
yeah.
Dropping some jewels.
So I gotta definitely get him on up. Pass him my information too, brother.
We'll
so
do.
we can
We'll
we gotta
do.
do that. We gotta work together and try to like raise consciousness, and hopefully that can take us somewhere with those who really want to do the work to better themselves, their community, their family, which they owe the most importance to, and that is your family. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Peace, brother Info.
All
Next.
right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna yield to Classic
All right,
Ruby.
folks.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much for having me, Brother X. It's always a pleasure.
You already
You know,
know. You
thank
already
you.
know.
Seriously, I always have a blast when I'm on your show because we're always talking about topics and I never know where you're going to take them. I read it and I go, okay, I know what we're going to talk about. Then we get to the show and you ask some questions that just opens our minds, as you say, in a completely different way. So, and I'd also obviously, Brother Art, Info Man, I can't even see everyone's on here. Cat, I have the worst memory in the world. Mr. Fantastic. Oh, yes. And BMT. I thank you, brothers, today because, it's always good to be able to hear the different perspectives, especially on something like this kings and queens thing, because I would have thought that we all kind of would think similar things. I think we all are kind of anti
That
the
we're
queen
all
thing.
kings and queens.
Ugh, no, yuck, yuck. But it's funny because we all had different perspectives, despite all being anti this ridiculous label. And I think that what we got to do, what we got to realize is that there is such a thing as real self validation. There is such a thing as real accomplishment. It doesn't matter where you were born, what your circumstances were, where you're starting out from right now, what your age is. You can actually accomplish things. You don't have to go down this route where you're onto some fake label and, fake conscience and I'm going to dress in, African garb from 4 different countries and pretend that I know what the hell I'm doing. Like you don't have to do all of that. You can actually achieve on your own. You can actually, you don't have to be a business owner. You can work for a business, become very successful and profitable in that way. And I think that there's that message there somehow that like if you're not the king of the castle, if you're not at the top of the top, then somehow you're inferior. And it comes down to no business will be successful unless it had employees. So that would tell you then obviously not everybody needs to be the business owner. Not everybody has to be at the very top, to be successful. Looking down on yourself because, you're Elvin from the Cosby Show and you got to work at Trader Joe's because, men work when they need money to pay bills and take care of their family. That's ridiculous. You're not lesser than because you don't have a $50 million a year salary or whatever it is. And I think that because we have all these inferiority complexes and we feel like we're always fighting against the stereotypes and we're programmed into all those stereotypes so deeply that, we reach out to anything that will give us 5 seconds of validation, 5 seconds of telling us that we're good enough, for women, that we're beautiful enough, that we're, tall enough, that we're short enough, that our feet are big enough or small enough or whatever. There's just so many things we're always constantly looking for validation for. But again, you can get real validation, not all this bullshit you're chasing, not chasing the bag, not chasing the millionaire, not chasing the one who's 6'1" and was a basketball star. You don't need all of that for you to be happy, for you to be fulfilled, for you to be successful. Marriages make you 50% more successful, both men, women, and obviously the children, at least 50% more successful. So, we need to stop thinking about bullshit, stop chasing bullshit for temporary validation while you're living in your Roach Motel, but you got a BMW in Jordan, so everyone thinks you're the king of what? The Roach Motel you're renting out? Like, that, it doesn't logically make sense. We need to stop chasing fake validation and honestly turn towards chasing real validation, self-validation, that pride and sense of accomplishment you get when you actually accomplish things, when you actually do something good. And don't look for the outside world to praise you on mini goals. Like, again, like you got up and got a job, good for you. Like you went and actually paid your bills, good for you. But you can applaud yourself if that's something you were messing up. And then you can feel good about yourself for reaching your mini goals that you've set for yourself. Start looking towards self. And I think that if we just do that and we focus on that, then this kings and queens bullshit will go away in favor of something that is actually realistic.
Well said. Very well said. Very
All
well
right.
said. Next.
Thank you, sir.
Am I the last one?
Well, you can go. You can go ahead and throw your parting shots.
Yeah, I won't take long. I won't take long. Like I'll put myself in the shoes of a homeless person that have great intentions and great positivity and this and that. Uh, when I hear somebody like say, they call you a king, so aware that kings and queens, and it's up to the individual to do that research to find out the reason why we are kings and queens. That's on that individual. That's how I say it. It's like like a lot of us learn, hey man, you can be a better leader and understand what it takes. Same way. And that's why, like, if I was on the streets and somebody called me a king or queen when I'm like dirt funky and broke and begging, they said, you know what? Since they call me a king, why? I got to do my research and stuff. But some people did not worry about that. But anyway, I'm on the same path on all of y'all. I really do. Everything y'all are saying. But I might see things on a different light. And I'm not criticizing nobody else because everything what they say is positive. But to me, the way how I do things, sometimes it's not fully effective, but it's effective. It's effective enough to where I can say, "Hey, man, hey, sister, come here. You're a queen, right? I'm not saying that loosely. You are a queen, but it's up to you. If you want to get these goddamn streets and change your life. If not, if I see you again, I'm not gonna help you. If you tell me that you don't appreciate the queen status I'm trying to place you in. Or it could be a brother. Any person that's homeless, hopeless, and out of luck, you gotta give them some type of positivity, whether they accept it or not. That's on them. Okay, brother. My memory, shit. I'm from brother Prophet. I appreciate you on the panel, man, and love to everybody else in the chat room, the panel, and everything.
Anytime, Cap. You already know. You got my info. All right, Cap.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you,
brother Art.
Well, you know what I'm gonna say.
Oh God. Yeah, I know what you're gonna say.
Say no to drugs.
And don't start forest fires.
And don't be starting forest fires. You know how I'm gonna start it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but peace to you, brother Prophet, sister Classic Ruby, Brother Information Man, Brother BMT, Mr. Fantastic, Brother Cap, and all the people out the chat. Um, most of the stuff that I say is really coming from an educator's perspective, and I would not even be considering doing my job if I didn't encourage anybody to aim high.
Mm-hmm.
I don't encourage mediocrity. I don't encourage it at all. You know, if you happen to be there, that's because you tried, and that's where you landed. Ain't no well, just nah. I mean, the whole thing is that for us to make it this far, my father was breaking it down to where whoever survived on the slave ships, they survived the toughest condition, whatever it was, and they wind up living, and here we are. So if that don't make you a survivor just as well as some kind of king or whatever of survival, maybe queen of survival, I don't know what does. But my main thing is I would encourage anyone to aim as high as possible. Because it starts with a vision. It starts with a thought, a dream. Hell, what's the channel here? Prophet of thought. You know, it starts with all these things, and then you make it real. I go a little further, but always remember that thought is feminine, action is masculine. That's how you make those things come together. And I'm done.
Oh yeah. I see my man Jay Shine up in the house. I be trying to get him up on here, y'all, but y'all know my man is up in Europe, so it's like 5 in the morning over there, 4 in the morning over there. So I try not to fuck with him too much because I know it's early as hell, and I know he's a working man. So, but I am gonna get Jay Shine up on here as soon as he take his next vacation. I'm gonna get him up on here, no doubt. But I'm just gonna close with this, man. When it comes to this queen and king stuff, I think all of us, I think all of us have gone through that stage where we was like, I'm a queen, I'm a king. I think all of us have went through that kind of stage, whether it be when we were teenagers or whether it be when we were maybe in our early 20s or so, because this is what we were taught. We often hear, oh, black people are sick. We got a sickness. I don't think we so much as sick. I think we just heavily indoctrinated with a bunch of bullshit, is what I think. I don't think, I don't think it's sickness. I think it's indoctrination, okay, that has got us fucked up. And that's a whole nother show. Who knows? Maybe next week's show, but we've been indoctrinated with this stuff. And sometimes we have to find our way out of it. I mean, some of us don't. I mean, some of us go through this whole ridiculous jack backwards ass indoctrination right on from the time we go from the cradle to the grave. But some of us are more fortunate. We break out of that shit, man. We start seeing things for what they really are. We start connecting with reality as opposed to the perception of said reality. And I think that's what this whole king and queen shit is, man. I think this shit isn't reality. This shit is a perception of reality or a perception of what we think should be reality. You understand? Because when you look at a lot of pockets of black society, yeah, you see queens of denial. And I don't mean the Nile River. You see the king of Jordan. And I don't mean Jordan, the country. When I say queen of denial, queen of denying all the bullshit she's done to not just ruin her life, ruin those children's lives. When I say the king of Jordan, he's the king of those Jordans that he wear. Those 3 and 4 and 5 pairs he got. Because that's probably the only thing of any value that he owns. So yeah, we got some queens and kings out there. We sure do. It's just that they ain't queens and kings over anything. They don't govern anything. They don't own anything. And they don't do a damn thing for the people. So let them continue to call themselves queens and kings. Who knows? They might even develop kingdoms. But I tell you one goddamn thing. I wouldn't want these quote unquote queens and kings, from what I've seen, I wouldn't want them ruling over me. How about you? I'm just saying. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Good show tonight. Serious topic. We've been killing y'all with them serious topics. I know y'all expecting some old fuck shit. But we've been killing y'all with the serious shit here lately, the last few weeks. I appreciate y'all all coming through tonight. But what I need you to do right now is I need you to get on down to Facebook. I need you to stop at Proper the Thought series on Facebook. That's Proper the Thought, one word, series on Facebook. It's a community page. Go ahead, like the page, share the page, follow the page. You can even drop old X a line, and I'm guaranteed to get back to you within 24 and 168 hours. Also, you can always catch up with what we got going on the TPOT YouTube page as well. So go ahead, check out the Popular Thought series main page. Our community page is not a personal page, it's a community page. So you got to operate it a little different. But while you're down there, you can also make your way to the Popular Thought Series fan group page on Facebook. That's the Popular Thought Series fan group page on Facebook. Go ahead, request to be a member. You're guaranteed to get in there unless you're trying to do stupid shit, because the page has been cleaned up. They had to clean house down there, because we had like 3,000 people in the group at one time. Now it's down to like 1,300, because about 1,600 of y'all got kicked the hell out because you was doing stupid shit down there. Okay, ain't gonna be no more of that shit. I'm telling you right now, it's not gonna happen. You come in there doing crazy mess. If you get in there, once it get discovered, you're getting booted out. That's how it goes. I'm just saying. So go ahead, request to be a member. You guarantee to get in there as long as you ain't trying to come down there and do stupid shit, because they running a tight ship down there now. Ain't no fucking around in there. So come in there with your shit correct. You can be part of the group, post your shit, talk your shit, and all that. But certain shit just ain't gonna be tolerated there. All right. All right. Also, check us out on WhatsApp and Instagram. That's Proper Thought. Leave out the series on Instagram. Go ahead, follow us on Instagram. You guarantee to get a follow back. Now, the coup de grace. Get your black behinds down to Twitter. The Twitter handle is at TPOT Media on Twitter. That's at TPOT Media on Twitter. Go ahead, follow us on Twitter, because if you don't, I'm going to haunt your old black ass mama till the day she dies. But once again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I'd like to thank everybody in the chat. I'd like to thank my moderators, always in there doing what they got to do. But most importantly, I want to thank you for showing up tonight, hanging out with us, watching us tonight. It's always appreciated. Make sure that you have your black behinds here next week, same time, same channel, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, right here on DXL on the TPOT YouTube page, because we'll be back with something else. Once again, I want to thank everybody for coming through, and I want to thank my most distinguished guest, Lady Ruby, Brother Info Man, Brother BMT, Brother Fantastic, my man, Brother Art, and Cap for coming through tonight. I appreciate all of y'all, and don't let it be the last time you find yourself on the TPOT YouTube page. So, with that, I will leave you with 3 words. You know, like I always do.
Open your mind.
All right. Cheers, y'all.
Peace, Lady Ruby. Peace, folks.
Prophet of thought. You know. The prophet of thought. The prophet of thought. Open your mind. 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 Open your mind.
Only from TBB.